Okay, we are live. This is Benjamin Sardix Tuesday Hangout number 0055 on April 1st, 2025.
Nice
And it's
intro, Hank.
me, yes, it's me, Hank O'Flame, co hosting.
That's right.
It's on both of our channels, so if something goes wrong on one channel, it hits both of us at the same time.
Damn, that's gonna hurt. It's like we're
Yep,
twins.
yep, we're twins. Ooh, who's that? We got people
Jared,
already.
J-Rad. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's life?
Good. How's
Ooh,
your
it's
life?
great. It's great.
How's your life,
What have
Jared?
you I got a presentation, but I want to hear what you've been processing.
Uh, lots of stuff, but I won't mention it here.
Oh, okay.
Why? This is the place to mention it. No.
No, I've not done processing it, so
All right.
yeah.
Sweet.
Hey, Venus. Oh, I have someone
Yeah,
else
man.
here already. Of course, Sandy.
Hey, Annie.
Hello.
Hey, I didn't get around to doing the Spanish thing yet, but
Yeah, no, can I ask you just a few questions and get them out of the way?
yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Okay, because then after that I might just listen in and sew a bit. So first question, when I look at it, why isn't it as simple as just like the ones that say inactive? They only have admins in them. Why can't I just add people? Like, are they turned off?
You can. Yeah, you
Oh,
tag.
well then,
Yeah, you put the tag on their name.
then I don't need you to do that. I know how to do that.
Okay.
So the other questions, I just want to like get them all out of the way. Oh, so like generally, do you think it's an okay idea?
It's a great idea. Why not? If he's got 4 people to type Spanish.
Yeah, I think he wanted to start out with just 2. So,
Oh, sure.
and then hopefully look for more. And I told him, what I'm going to tell him is like, yeah, I think that's fine. Just make it clear to the client, what they're getting.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But so next, like, so do you see any because I feel like I have a lot of missing information, like I'm managing something that I didn't build,
Right.
and, I'm really kind of controlling, and like with my own businesses, I built every aspect. And so I have the full
Right.
picture. So do you see any like pitfalls or complications that might come up?
With the Spanish team?
Yeah.
Just you might start getting emails in Spanish that you have no idea what they mean, but you'll just use ChatGPT to translate, right?
Oh yeah, I can understand pretty well, plus translation tools. I'll be fine. Yeah. And if I
Right.
have questions, I'll just send the message to the Spanish guy.
Perfect.
So the other thing is, what kind of website is CRG? Did somebody like build that and code it? I mean, I'm assuming it's a free.
Yeah, it's a Google website. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't have the skills to make any alterations.
You would have
You
the
may.
skills.
Let's bring it up.
Oh, okay. So like not right now, but sometime in the future, if I
We'll
need
give you
to make
access.
okay, and I'll be able to figure it out by just
Yeah.
watching like YouTube how-to videos. Okay.
Or even
Good.
just asking ChatGPT. Yeah.
Okay. So and then someone did a while ago ask about the photos thing,
Right.
and I think you told me one time there was a guy who was handling the team photo submissions.
Yeah. I don't know. You might want to reach out to him.
Okay. So do you want to tell me his name now or send it to me privately?
I'll send it to you privately. Yeah.
Okay. And with those, from what I understand, is like maybe people weren't participating. I mean, it feels like I'm hurting kittens sometimes with these teams.
Yes,
like,
I know. Yeah.
going. Yeah. So, I mean, do you think it's worth trying to like reignite that? And I feel like the people on the teams don't really know me, and some of them, because I'm not a very strong leader, and like sometimes I think they're not even really sure like who's doing.
Just decide you're a strong leader. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. But I thought that would be one way if I reach out and try to reignite this, like, hey, does anyone want to submit photos and get this going again? And they would,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So you send me that name privately, and then
It's I'll write it out. It's Annie it's pronounced, but with a T at the end. Like that.
okay. So I'll reach out to that person. And I think that was all my questions. Yeah.
Sweet. How you been? How's life?
I It's been really good. I feel kind of insecure today for some reason. This question about I have a lot of imposter syndrome and like anxiety about CRG stuff. And this question, I was just like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And then I realized like, whoa, do I know what I'm doing? And with this particular guy, I don't know. I've never met him. I don't hear his voice. I just get messages and like he calls me boss and chief and it feels weird. And then like I made a mistake last week and this same guy said, damn, don't you have like a database or something where you write this stuff down? Like, don't you have a spreadsheet? And I was like, yeah, I do. It's just, I forgot. I accidentally sent that team.
It's the same guy that's lost his shit on Hank. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious! I hope he's tuning in today.
Yeah. I think it's just because I can't hear his voice. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I am I'm realizing like I'm more decidery or like insecure than I thought I was, So yeah, I think I just have a lot of insecurity because like I made an SI mistake. And like just a lot of,
And that's the end of the world. That's it. You're canceled. SI mistake done.
all this demon thinking comes
Right.
up because I'm like the website, all the moving parts, stuff I don't know how
Right.
to do. And so, but I feel more confident now. And I think what I'm going to do, I looked at the Google question form and how to connect it to a spreadsheet. I'm going to have them just do a paragraph, what it is, then the submission questions, and circulate it wherever he wants to.
Sure.
And I think, yeah, that's how I'm going to approach it. So I can handle all that.
Perfect. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing my third iteration of my dress.
Can we see?
Yeah, but I worked 2
Wow.
full days on this.
That's the material?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
shiny, satiny, and it's got a little bit of horizontal stretch. So it's pretty stable because there's no vertical stretch. So it'll have really crisp lines, but then a little bit of that stretch so it can be, fitted. And
Wow.
but this is 2 days of work and it's just like really slow going. It just like I have to concentrate.
Well, yeah,
like,
you don't want to make a mistake, right?
yeah, and it's so easy. It's like this 3-dimensional like origami thing. I mean, this thing has like 4 layers in it, and I get confused about.
Yeah, it looks super like runway.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I
Yeah.
found this material. This was so cheap. It's like $4 and change per yard, like $4.24 per yard, which is
Wow.
an amazing price for fabric. So I'm
Where do
glad-
you get it? AliExpress?
No. I don't shop those places. No, I don't believe in those places. But it's fabric wholesale direct. But I'm glad I know about this fabric now because for any kind of cocktail dress that you want it to be really fitted, it's got that stretch and movability. So
You have to keep track of which way's horizontal, though.
oh yes. Yeah. I mean that would be that's the kind of mistake I would have made, 8 years ago when I was starting out. Yeah. No, I wouldn't mess that up this time.
And my body shape, I put stuff on vertically, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, you have to pay attention always to the grain of the fabric. Yeah, there's little marks showing on the pattern exactly the direction you want to place the pattern so everything drapes the right way. Yeah.
I watched this interview. It was Jon Stewart talking to this guy about all the regulations on like how the government has to do all these things on like to do a broadband company, and they're going through all these steps. It's like boom, 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 and then it was like step 5 or 6, and it's like all this SI bull crap. You have to do these studies, this blah blah blah, and then Jon Stewart's like losing his mind. He's like SI demon crash out. He's just like no, and then he finally it's like 12 steps. The whole thing was like 12 steps, and then you can start, and then you have to go do the environmental studies with other groups coming in.
Yeah, but it was so easy. Comcast could do it in the first place, so it can't be that hard.
Yeah, well, they were saying like at the very beginning of this process, there was like 100 companies, and then by step 12, there's like 17 companies left that are going to do the bid. So it's like this crazy SI nightmare.
That's why there's not that many companies then.
Yeah.
Plus, not all of them get social welfare from the government. That makes things much easier.
So, Hank, what's your presentation about?
objective personality system.
Nice. All right. Let's see it.
All right, let's see it now. It's
And this is
the
a April Fool's presentation.
yes, today's April
Right.
Fool's Day.
I know
Designed by
it.
me. Why I Love Objective Personality System by me, Hangout Famo. So the first thing I love about is the Snopes effect. So it's a couple dictating the truth to us.
Right.
They may or may not be married. They may or may not have a cat. I'm not sure. For OPS, it's Dave and Shannon Powers, and for Snopes, it's Dave and Barbara Milkerson.
What was
They're not
Snopes?
this. What Snopes is I guess newspaper website news website telling us what's factual and what's not factual. Well, what's true and not true. It's not really factual. What's true and not true. So this goes say, oh, is this statement true? They say nope. Snopes says nope, something or yes, or and then you just watch.
You believe the truth from the truth gods.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Snopes has OPS in it, so
I guess. Oh, it really does? Oh my. We should do a detour. That's Wait, I only have 8 slides, so let's do a detour.
No, that doing a detour will detract from your April Fool's punchline. So
Well, we have time to kill. We had to get 3 hours in.
oh, this slide's gonna last 3 hours. Great.
Possibly. At least this panel is.
Okay, speaking of
I don't see it. I don't see it in Snopes.com.
I was gonna fill time while you were looking.
no, I mean like the word Snopes has OPS in it.
Oh, the word Snopes. That's technically correct.
Oh, come
The
on.
word Snopes does have OPS in it, but not in that. I guess it's in that order, but not concatenated next to each other. So yeah,
A little
technically
E stuck
correct.
its way in there. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, I
Should
am-
we go to the next slide?
Yeah, go for it.
Nice.
I like your little animals and trees.
Yep. It was built into LibreOffice.
If it's not done by AI, then I don't like it.
I don't know if they had done it. In fact, if I had to bet, they didn't.
No, that's
Because those birds have 2 wings
1997,
instead of 4.
That's 1997 Word program or something.
Yes.
All right, Hank, next slide.
So enough coins to make $5. So
Okay.
it has 512 different types in the objective personality system. There's actually only 9 coins to make all those types, and no error corrections needed. So it's unlike MBTI test, all of them are significant all the way. So we're not gonna use any for error correction because you don't need that. We're just gonna run and. We just have run an and. This is an operation to see what matches across a couple people who made their guesses, and what matches is what counts, and you drop the rest.
9 coins instead of 4.
Yep. Any comments? Questions?
Why no error correction needed?
Because they didn't build it in, so it doesn't. They don't need it.
What error correction is there in MBTI?
So since it's only 4 coins, you can use, if you use a questionnaire, you could use one to swing it one way or another way. And you can see between the coins, the MBTI, you can have a threshold to push it one way or the other way. But but OPS is too smart a system; it doesn't need that.
It doesn't need that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not. So they didn't build it in.
Nice.
So, and the next thing I like about OPS is the string theory effect. Everyone who practices OPS has their own variant. Just run in on the output, and Dave Powers himself said, define your term should take months. So before you do and that's from his "How to Know Your Type" video.
Okay,
It's
what's
fun-
this link that you're showing us? Let's look at your link. At 340? That's what you want?
Yes. Yep. I think I
Alright.
even have. I already have it on this tab, so I just need to go to the right time. In fact, we've started for context purposes. We'll start it at the top of the segment, which will be 308.
You're doing your research, Hank.
I usually do my research.
Yeah.
I usually do my research and I usually prepare.
They think feeling means this, they think thinking means this, they think sensory means this, and intuition means that, and off they go. The first step we really found is kind of a unlearning process. You got to get all that old Myers-Briggs shit out of your head and really start to learn and understand these binary coins and terms for yourself in reality. Oh, that's what organize over gather is. I can see it in myself and those around me. I can see it in reality.
You understand his aid? That yourself is the in the bubble, and the outside says it's the other bubbles, the green stuff.
Okay.
Does everyone get that?
I mean, SE and NI is different. NI is gathering the SE, yeah, and organizing it.
Well,
Yeah.
what's keeping it out with the red bubble?
Okay.
I guess it's a filter.
Sure.
And what does it concentrate? Who the hell knows? It doesn't matter what it's concentrating.
I can actually own the material rather than just grabbing up random things that other people have said. Number one is defining your terms, and this should take you months. It's ridiculous where people will come to personality types very different than how they do college. Would you go to college on day one, you bum rush your teacher and say, just explain everything to me right now? That's what we get. Every week I get emails like that. Just tell me everything right now. Just explain it to me right now. Just make it make sense to me right now. Help me with my type right now. It's like, hey, Dick, have you defined your terms? Have you done the homework? Have you learned it yourself? Have you built small steps over time? Hey, I'm in a hurry. Okay, great. Here's a free test. Go take it. And here's the second step. When it gets...
So yeah, so you define your own terms, but unlike college, they don't have the terms ready for you to tell you teach you what's going on. You get to define your own terms. It's not like math, where we have people who know what they're talking about define your terms. You just figure it out yourself, and hopefully you come up with a
they've got a
system.
terms book now, but the terms are kind of funny.
Oh no, I'll get to those. The terms that they released before the terms book still hilarious. Oh.
Okay.
Let's try to get to the other. Oh, it's still on stage. Excellent. It makes things much easier. Well, in the back. So let's go to the next slide. See, animals. So we like OPS because they're animals. It gives us
Pokemon.
Yeah, monster game vibe. Which, yeah, Pokemon's one of them, but I didn't want to explicitly reference Pokemon itself because I didn't want to bother with the town's trademark. So, monster game. So, we could be talking about Pokemon, or we could be talking about Dragon Quest monsters, or even Digimon if we knew what that was. So, it has two different kinds of animals, information animals, and energy animals. There's two of each. This should actually be 128 of each based on them just being secretly cognitive function pair. So there should be...
Why should there be 128 of each?
Because 512 divided by 4 is 128.
Why are you starting with 512?
Because that's how many different types there are in OPS.
Okay.
But we go strictly by what Dave and Shan says. There's only 4 of them, so those other function pairs or something else that we don't know of yet. We have to define our terms still, so don't worry about those.
Okay, Hank.
Or we could have more animals. Then we have enough for a monster game.
Yeah, they need at least 150 to make a full Pokemon game, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but maybe if we do in peak rating, you must save some space.
128 is okay. Yeah, 128 is a roughly a good one.
Yeah.
So that doesn't include legendary, right?
Yes, it does. We have 8 of them be legendary.
Okay.
So Aiden would be legendary. Then we have like I don't know if the other. I don't know. I didn't get Zephyr to help us with that. I don't know the other how many ones will evolve and will support evolution.
Okay. Oh yeah, you gotta have something that can evolve too. That's right.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll call it something else. Maybe we'll use another OPS term. Maybe we'll call them a blast up or sleep down. I don't know.
All right, sounds great, Hank.
Okay. So it's precise. I like OPS because it's precise in small scales. So you have small groups of people typing. They may or may not be married. They may not be in a cult. And Dave Power says you need to go to your friends and family to know your type. You need to go to friends and family. And
Right, and if you don't have friends or family, not only do you not get to know your type, you also don't have any friends or family.
Exactly.
Kind of sucks.
Yep. Let's go to that same video at 412.
Okay. It's still there.
So,
It's still there. It's
move
still
this. I'm trying.
Oh, we're there.
Okay.
We're at 412. Okay.
Excellent. That's convenient.
It's even harder. You have to get observations from your peers, not just your subjective self. Oh my God, that eliminates about 99% of people right there. They don't want to know anything about personality type unless it has to do with their point of view. They want to see themselves how they want to see themselves. And Carl Jung says, doesn't work that way. You're not going to see yourself. That's the game. You have to triangulate. You have to get points of view from outside of yourself to see yourself. You're the black hole. You can't see it. You have to see the effects of the black hole around the black hole. You as a person cannot see the real you. That one right there just wipes everybody out. So you have to go to your friends and your family, not somebody online, not some damn test. They don't know you. You have to go to your friends and family and get an honest assessment from them. You got to go, hey, what is the worst thing about me? What do you guys say behind my back that I just am a horrible person about? That's the information that you got to go find and figure out. Why? Because they'll be telling you your demons. And you can't just go to one friend because you're probably going to like rig the questions. You're like, so am I controlling like an asshole or am I really cool and I like to gather? And they're like, you're cool and you like to gather. Will you go away now? See, you're rigging the thing to go in your favor. So you can't count on your point of view or one or two people's point of view. You got to get about hopefully 10. And in that group of about 10 people, you're like, all right, what are the common patterns people are saying about me?
Who has 10 friends?
Interesting. 7 out of 10 people said that I'm more controlling than I am gathering. And they said it in different ways. They had different understandings. They had different points of view. But I'm tracking some patterns here in the data sets of about 10 family members. 7 out of 10 of them are all saying this. And now you're getting some actual information outside of yourself to evaluate, as opposed to you're just going in circles in your room trying to convince yourself unconsciously. You know what I mean? All right, here's the third step.
See, so before we can know about OPS, we need to get 10 people, friends and family, teach them the system, and then you can ask them what your personality type is after you define your terms.
4 out of 5 people say I'm controlling.
Let me guess who that one is. Hi, Angel.
So just 5 easy steps to figure out your personality type. You just
all right.
Okay. And yes, I did have a typo. Matt's supposed to say May there. I always fix it in my local copy. But the next best thing about OPS is that celebrities get in for free.
Right, they do. They get in for free, and they don't even get to know their type. They just get in.
Yep. So they get typed by, as part of the benefits, they get typed by Dave and Shannon for no additional cost or effort. They just need to just do their thing. Dave and Shannon will come to you and give you and figure out your type. And you also get a record on. Yes.
Well, that gives me motivation. I'm going to become a celebrity now.
Yeah, save you some money. And that probably make you money.
My sponsors, I can already see the sponsors popping up right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good point. Yep, free does mean you're the product.
Yep. So you also get a record on subjectivepersonality.wordpress.com. They have a database of celebrities and some other people.
There you go.
And as another benefit, you don't need to record and edit a Muggle interview. So those are non-celebrities. You don't have to do that for stuff like that outside of like C or G to do, because once you're famous, everyone just knows who you are.
That's what famous is, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, no Muggle fee for stars, and no need to try to teach the OPS system to your friends and family just to figure out your type.
All right. So this is why you like OPS. Oh, we're not done. More.
Yep. So syntax massacre. So that's the syntax of OPS that the database uses, and we just need to understand that and define those, either one. Then we can understand what Wim Hof's type is. Anyone want to try to use those letters to decipher the type? What's Wim Hof's type? I can blow it up. Let me blow it up.
Yeah, no, we know what his type is, yeah.
Yeah, say it.
He is a
INTP jumper. INTJ jumper, sorry.
ISFP.
Visual, INTJ jumper,
ISFP.
mope, and energy dom.
It's ISFP jumper, right?
Oh, ISFP, right.
Yeah.
FINI.
Yeah, that was easy.
Visual ISFP jumper.
See, that was easy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hit us with
You have
another
to
one.
know. You have to know it.
Yep. And the last one is my favorite one, the gender spectrum. That's part of OPS somehow.
It is part of OPS somehow. Yeah.
Yes, it goes from Barbie to G.I. Joe, 1 to 12. I don't know which one of those symbols represents the gender spectrum, but it's in OPS somehow, somewhere.
Yep. It's the M and F at the beginning. Go back one slide.
Yep.
See Wim Hof's type, how it says FM, feminine, masculine. That's where the gender spectrum comes in.
So it's that easy. So he's feminine first, then masculine. Then
He's an
everything
INTJ
else.
jumper.
All right, I think that's the whole presentation.
Sweet. All right. Why Hank likes OPS. Perfect, Hank. Well, that got us through half an hour.
Yep. So
Yeah.
yes. So when I listen back to myself talk, the louder I am, the better I sound.
Did you ask 10 friends? Yeah, triangulate that, baby.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, do my 10 friends edit my videos?
No. I don't think they would be your friends for long if they had to edit your videos to be friends.
Exactly.
I thought of something that I wanted to say.
What's up?
You know, we were talking about Dubai last time.
Right.
Yeah, and I watch all those Love is Blind shows, and now they're all dubbed. Well, I watched Love is Blind Habibi, and so it was all located in Dubai. So I got to learn about, dating in that Arab world. And a lot of people were from all different places, like Lebanon and all over that area, but it was just like filmed in Dubai. And so I got to see a little bit of the culture of Dubai, not much, but a lot of the dating culture. And there were some things I really liked about it.
Really?
Well, yeah, and there were some things that were harder for me, as like a Western person. But I loved the respect and the modesty. It was really different from, in the Western shows, when the doors open and they see each other for the first time, they run to each other and start making out like they're in high school. And it's just like, this is the first time they've been physically close. Like their nervous systems are just meeting each other for the first time. they've only met through audio before and conversation, and they're just making out, and it's like, whoa, and a lot of times that's too much for one or the other of them. It's just too weird.
Right.
And it also just seems inappropriate. And then, so in the Arabic world, when the doors part, they walk to each other pretty, calmly. And
Right.
then the man, he has the ring, and he says, oh, she's already agreed to marry him. He says, will you marry me? And she says yes. And then he kisses her on the forehead. And it's just right for the moment. It's like, that's,
Right.
take your
On the
time.
forehead? Ooh, scandalous.
And then, before they leave again, he says, give me a kiss. And she just kisses him on the cheek, and you never see them kiss on the mouth in the show during all the filming, the honeymoon, everything. When they go to the honeymoon, they have separate suites. They don't just like sleep in the same bed the first night, And
I just have to interject. This was Hank that wrote that, not me.
and so
But
I
yes,
liked that
Bex,
part.
welcome. Jump on.
I liked that part of it. And then the men, but some of the men, it's like, okay, jealousy, a healthy amount of jealousy can be sweet, but some of them were extremely controlling.
In
And
Dubai.
some of them, and some of them, it just seems sort of cultural, like, I have to say this. So you would hear "no wife of mine" a lot. You would hear that phrase, "no wife of mine." But
Right.
then in some of those couples, even though the man said that, he was sort of like puffing himself up, over time they did compromise. And she was able to continue her job that she loves or whatever, and they worked it out. But in some of them, they didn't, no wife of mine will dance. And this woman loved dancing. And so she
Wow.
didn't marry him. She said, I choose dancing.
Yeah.
You can't, because there's a really fine line between, like respect and a sweet, healthy amount of jealousy, and then just like the controlling and the possessiveness,
Mhm.
So anyway, that's what I learned this week watching that show.
Interesting. What are you doing?
I'd say in the West, the producers probably, there's probably an expectation they set of, I run, make kissy kissy, and that's probably good TV. They probably promote that kind of stuff as well.
It seems pretty much, it seems authentic. I mean, well, you're in a situation, a high pressure situation, so as authentic as it can be. It varies from couple to couple, but I just really appreciated that about the show.
Do you think that are like pre-selected, like people that are more extroverted and would be willing to go on the show would be going on the show and be extroverted and do those kind of things as well?
Yeah, I mean, you will see probably a higher percentage of emotional immaturity than what might naturally occur in real life on these shows.
Was
And
it
there
extravagant too? Was it over the top extravagant?
You mean in any of them or in Dubai?
In the Dubai one, yeah.
Yeah, but they all are, in all the cultures, there's a honeymoon, so it's at a resort. It's always extravagant.
Right.
And there's the rooms that the people meet in, and they're always, decorated and nice. And the women are always, really dressed up on the show. But
so it didn't make you want to hurl at the Dubai excess stuff.
Well, they didn't show a whole lot of that, so this is a career woman. She has a job that she loves. I didn't actually see her go to work, or
Right.
anything like that. So, but in terms of like the wedding dresses, it was about the same. People go crazy over wedding dresses, which I don't know. There's so much about this show that like I just for me personally, I don't want a wedding. Like I want a marriage, but not a wedding. It feels like you're putting on a show. And maybe it's because like part of me feels like, well, I can't get married because I don't have a father. Like, how can you get married when you don't have a father? So there's that aspect of it. But like the wedding dress fitting, their dresses weren't any more extravagant, but there was still the same like simple girls that wanted something simple and understated, and then there were girls who thought that the dress was so important and everything about the day has to be important, and if it rains it's the end of the world, and all this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the West a lot of times the wedding's more important than the actual marriage, so they're like hyping it all up, and it's like this big show, look at me day, and then the marriage is like an afterthought. like, oh,
It's this pressure for everything to go perfectly as well. You know, the design of the wedding and the dress and all that.
Yeah.
What happened to good enough? Good enough's much cheaper and quicker than perfect.
Yeah, the only aspect of wedding that is important to me is that I would like to. Well, I made my sister's wedding dress, so I sort of got it out of my system. But just making a dress for myself. But it wouldn't even look like a wedding dress. I mean, it would just be simple and probably like natural fabrics or something. And I'm just not into it.
let me
I'm
get
not into
a
the
little bit of
sparkles
stretch in
and
there.
well, yeah, a little
Little
bit of
bit of
stretch.
stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna apply for a passport soon because Trump's new policy is gonna make it so I need a real ID or something culpable to fly across state lines in my country. So
What?
passport's
You
gonna
need
be
a
easier to
passport?
get with the
Oh,
DMV.
yeah. You need like an ID, so passport is worth it.
Yeah, passport's worth it at that point because it's gonna be probably be quicker and easier than the DMV to get the real
Right.
ID.
Well, I
My
don't know
my
if
DMV
passport's
is
easy.
so easy. I don't know. Like you just make an appointment online and then you go there that day, 5 minutes, boom, you're up in line, you're done.
Yeah, I pretty much have that planned. I'm gonna just do it at the mail and print place that I have my current mailbox at. They can do it.
Did
Plus, I'll
anyone
be
check
able to
out
leave the
the
country.
Did anyone check out the what's it called? The telepathy tapes? No.
What?
No.
I'm going to write it down this time because I was very interested in that. And I had the thought that I would check it out, but then it got kicked out by all the new information.
Say what did you say? I didn't hear what you.
Telepathy tapes, it's called.
Oh,
The podcast.
I heard you guys talking about that, and we investigated this in the '60s.
Did we?
Yeah. There's tons of investigation.
What was the result?
It's mostly it was the parents of the people facilitating some of the stories, putting out bullshit, and they just find a match at random. I mean, it's
it's like when they say horses can count.
Oh, Texas sharpshooter fallacy.
Do like I mean I think they maybe can count simple like 1 through 5, horses and dogs. But when they talk about horses doing equations, it's like, no, you're cueing that horse somehow. The horse is not doing algebra.
It's reading your vibe, and the guy's like moving. He knows, oh, this is it, and then he does it, right? Or he stops.
Yeah.
His hoof. Yeah. Like in the '60s and '70s, there was this guy named James Randi. He was a magician.
Yeah, right.
Huge fan of him.
A whole bunch of this kind of stuff. And there was even like $1 million prize. If you could prove telepathy, you could get $1 million. No one ever has claimed it. And it's like, the classic example of the what's behind the card. Try to read it. And he being a magician, he could like see what the scientists were doing. The scientists like tricked themselves into believing that it was true. And they weren't following like protocols. They were kicking out data information if it didn't match. It's just like because they wanted to believe, right?
So here's my problem with the
Amazing Randy.
Amazing Randy stuff. So there's a way you can define it so that any phenomenon is just not gonna be valid per his definition of I guess he would just say super.
Like he was moving the goalpost.
Yeah, because he's got like defining it all existence. I have this problem talking to a lot of atheists that way. They can't define any criteria that would count. Like I couldn't prove telepathy to him, telepathy to him, but we're doing telephony right now. And if I'd like had a clever thing to minimize it and do telephony, and we don't have as much setup and stuff, well, it wouldn't count because I use something to start the connection. So it's like there's like it's no way to get it working that he would say well, I'm gonna pay out. It's because he's already defined it so that's impossible to pay out.
Yeah. So what do you think about telepathy then, Hank?
We're doing it right. Well, we're doing telephony, but telepathy. I don't know what telepathy that's not also telephony that works.
Okay.
But if it existed, James Randi still wouldn't pay out.
Right.
Because pretty much when I talk to atheists, they define anything. They define everything they don't want to exist out of existence. So, especially when I debate them on whether God exists. So I like to use the Ten Commandments as the base, and say, hey, that pretty much Commandments 2 and 3 says don't put any gods before the God of the Bible. Then the line after says engraven images, meaning idols or gods. So in some sense, idols or gods in the Bible, and idols we can see and touch. So we can empirically verify that gods exist as idols, and atheists just say no, that doesn't count, and ask them why, and they say, well, I define gods that out of existence. There's no possible thing that can be a god, and that's kind of silly. The definition is silly, so we can't really have a discussion.
I seriously have no idea what you're saying. You just talk in circles and it doesn't even like define anything or say anything.
He's talked about this before, where he has arguments and debates against atheists, and so they can just keep moving the goalpost to deny his proof, because his proof is there are idols are gods, therefore atheists are wrong. Like, that's kind of his proof.
Yeah.
That's not what they mean by gods, though. I mean, that's
yes. So when I ask them to clarify what they mean by gods, they'll make the criteria so absurd that there's no possible thing that can fit inside of it. So they basically define the term to an unusable point, defining gods of existence.
So you believe in God, I take it.
Yeah.
So you don't think that distorts your rational powers to know if you don't think you're biased, and like now you're just running interference and your brain won't.
So I didn't believe in God for like a decade and a half. So
say again.
So there was a decade and a half when I didn't believe in God. So
yeah.
So I get was I more rational then?
It doesn't matter. Your rationality has no dependent on it. I'm saying, like, whatever you believe in is going to bias you into thinking, and you're going to go in the blinders part of your mind and not be able to see outside.
Well, I had both.
So you're blind one way and you're blind another. That doesn't get you out of this situation.
Well, I had both perspectives, so I think I could just change the frame back and forth.
Okay, like Jonathan Haidt's book, he talks in there about ideology binds and blinds you. Like, if you believe in something or you believe the narrative, Ben will like this. If about the narrative, you believe the narrative, you're blinded by it, and you cannot see outside of it. So
the workarounds make it context where you can consider both narratives at the same time.
I don't understand what you mean by that, but anyway.
So you make a story up where you can embed, probably just make a story of two people that's debating each other. One has one perspective, and the other one has the other perspective, and then you can run it like a Platonic dialogue. And that's a context where you could hold both of them at the same time without the contradiction.
Check this one out, Jared. Read that one.
We'll have them both. We'll have them both at the same time, and then we'll find out both of them are wrong. How about that?
Let's read
Defining
that up.
yourself as an anti-something requires the something to exist, at least as an idea. For your self-definition to be justified, no? I.e., without God, there is no atheism. Am I wrong? I don't know. This is like logic banging. I have trouble with your logic banging sometimes.
Oh, she gets me. She understands where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I know it's like the negative can't prove a positive or something like that. I can't. I've heard this before, but
We can't prove a negative except by proof of contradiction. For proof of contradiction, you can't prove a negative. But still, she's pretty much saying, if you're going to be anti something, you implicitly have to have the something that you're going to be against. You're gonna have the whole there. That you got to, like, if you have like an anti-electron on I guess a 2D media, well, you have to have the electron that have for a possible anti-electron. So electron
It sounds a
go
bit
in that
binary
hole.
to me. Like you could also evolve ideas, so you can get closer to the right answer.
Yeah.
So like you didn't need I don't know, Newtonian gravity, and then you get relativistic gravity. Relativistic gravity is right outside of Newtonian gravity. It doesn't need Newtonian gravity to be anti.
isn't there? It's been a long while since I've read all these kind of stuff. Isn't there like some kind of somebody's teapot that goes around the earth that you have
Russell's
to prove?
teapot.
Yeah. Isn't that the same? Like that's picking the same idea apart, right?
Well, maybe, but I could talk about Elon's car and be right. We have empirical evidence that Elon's car is up there, though.
What?
But we know Elon put it there. The God's teapot.
Yeah, we don't know if there's a Russell's teapot, but we know there's an Elon's car there.
Yeah, well,
What is this teapot? Is this like the rendering teapot that you're talking about?
no, it's an argument used by atheists. I think it's called Russell's teapot. It's like you can't prove that it's there or something, or you can't prove that it's not there. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've.
Okay.
We can look it up. Let's read this thing from.
It was reminding me of whenever you're rendering 3D graphics, there's this like one teapot that they always try to get to rendered first in order to test it out because it bends light in a certain way or something. It's like the staple. The teapot is the staple of rendering 3D graphics.
Well, maybe we should put that into space.
So yeah, Russell's teapot is an analogy formulated by the philosopher Bertrand Russell to illustrate the philosophical burden of proof lies upon the person making empirically unfalsifiable claims as opposed to shifting the burden to disprove others. Russell specifically applied his analogy in the context of religion. He wrote that if he were to assert, without offering proof, that a teapot too small to be seen by telescopes orbit the sun somewhere in space between Earth and Mars, he could not expect anyone to believe him solely because of his
flying
assertion.
spaghetti monster.
Yeah. That's my god.
Ah,
Like you can assert that there's a flying spaghetti monster, and there's no way you can disprove it.
yeah, you're correct. I guess no way for me to disprove it.
So pretty much it's just saying, I think this whole argument is just saying that the proof is upon the religious people to provide accurate, verifiable proof that God exists. Isn't that, am I getting it wrong or?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Sure.
And I would be cheeky and just use the anthropological record and the fact that there's millions of religious buildings of worship around the world, and they would say, no, that doesn't count. That's just proof that people believe in it. It's not proof.
Yeah,
it doesn't count. There's no evidence. Still, even though that's actually evidence.
That's exactly what I would say. It's just a feature of our brain to invent God to make it there. It's like it's not real. It's in the mind, man. It's the narrative of the mind, dude.
But or our minds real?
It doesn't matter. Like
It really doesn't matter.
No,
If our minds are real.
the argument, it doesn't matter. Like the brain can create something that's imaginary. That's your answer.
So if our minds are real and it's in our mind, then it is real by transitive property.
Dude, there's no way in logic that just because your brain creates something in the imagination, in the wet work of your stupid neurons, that it would make it real in real life. That's just,
What if I drew it down?
It's still not real. Well, on the paper, yeah, my marks on the paper are real now.
Yeah.
That doesn't make God real. That's just, just so.
I mean, you're talking about representations, right? Like, just because you have a picture of the Mona Lisa doesn't mean the Mona Lisa is real.
Yeah. Like
the actual Mona Lisa woman is real. It's a representation of her. If you were to see in infrared or UV, you'd look at this painting and you'd be like, I don't know what this is. Like, the real Mona Lisa would look different.
Yeah.
See, your conclusion of when you say this is like so certain in your mind, but in my mind is like wet as water. It's not. It doesn't even prove anything. So
water is wet. Wet is water.
I'm missing your point. I like in your mind, you're like, oh, I just hammered and I made a huge boom and I win. You're like, no, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
He won on a technicality, sure.
You'd have to hold my hand on that one a lot more because I don't understand. That would not. I don't know. I'm not up on this God stuff as much, but
yeah. But the thing is, I have like a whole script where I can keep nudging you directly to my position. So pretty much
you're nudging, you're just going down a non-movable view of your world and thinking you're bringing everybody with you, but you're not.
Oh no, you're moving a bit. So after that, I say
like you started this argument by saying I was not religious for a decade and now I am. Well, I was religious for many decades and now I'm not. So my position's right because I did it the opposite way. So now I'm right.
That's plausible. But so after I drew it on paper, and I have someone like I pretty much I wrote a story with it. I have a script, and I have people act it out. So that person's acting as that God. So is that actor real, or is that character real? How does that work?
You'd have to say that again. I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, so I have a movie, I have a play, and I have a person acting as if they're that character. They're dressed up. That person's real for sure. They're dressed as a character. On stage refers that character. So is there any sense where that character's real?
I'm missing your point on that one. So you have a stage actor that's up there acting. Is he real?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. They act as that character I drew.
Real, but the party's playing is not real. Like it's simple. Like what are you trying to point out? That doesn't make any sense.
I'd rather figure out what's the real part and what's the imagining part.
It's in your brain. Like,
yeah,
you're imagining. It's not real.
Oh, okay. So anything I'm seeing technically is imagined, so that's not real. Let me get that.
Oh my god! All right,
you came in charge today, Jared. You came in.
I'm taking off my jacket, dude. I have not studied this stuff for like decades, so I forget it all. But all right, Hank's gonna break out a script. He's gonna school me, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna move you to his position. Over time, slowly.
Oh my god! All right, move me, Hank.
Move me.
So that alarm was there for yesterday, so I should have turned it off. But yeah,
okay.
So the actor's real. They're
was
playing
that
a character.
Real or was it fake, Hank?
Well, oh yeah. So there you go. If you imagine it, then it's fake. So something pretty much it goes my senses. I imagine it, then I guess it's not real anymore.
So pretty much, this is all your point is going to lead up to perception, and if reality is real, then
Yes.
that's the end point. But that doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just doesn't prove anything to me. Like so.
So which part's real? Do we know?
Well, we know that a wall is real because when you try to put your hand through it, it hurts. So that's real.
Oh, okay. See,
Is the wall real, or are the atoms that make up the wall real, or is the energy that makes up the atoms real?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I can't go through the wall, so I assume it's real.
All right, but what's real about it? Because you're perceiving it as a wall. So are the atoms the real part, or is the energy that makes up the atoms the real part?
It's the combination of everything that makes it real.
Mm.
So it's only real in aggregate,
I don't know what you mean by that.
all put together.
Yeah, it's only real when it's all put together.
Well, each part is real too, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Like you can break down the minerals. Each mineral is different. A fiber of wood's different, and when you put it together with sheetrock, now it's a wall.
Yeah, but we could take it apart and stuff. So
So
we kind of
if you
imagine.
take something apart, that makes it not real. Is that what you're saying? That doesn't
I'm not sure.
I'm sure.
The wall itself
I've
doesn't
busted
have a
down a
reality.
wall before. I know it's freaking real. Then I can walk through it after I broke it down, man.
Like
Nice.
99% of the energy in matter is the binding energy between quarks.
Okay.
90% of the mass comes from the binding energy.
Oh, okay. So we're going
99%.
based on C touch. So
I have a feeling.
so our actor's real.
Ben's
We,
just
we,
getting
we
back
can
to
see
his
touch
popcorn
actors, right?
watching. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
We can see and touch actors, correct?
You can see them, but you can't touch them because you'll get a lawsuit. So I would advise against that.
Or someone else got here.
Bex.
Oh, fine. You add her.
What up, Bex?
Buenos dias. Good day, everyone. Nice
day,
to
good
see
day.
you all.
All right, so you're joining Team Hank?
Maybe, probably. It seems
She's
that
been
way.
on my team for years.
Yes, I am on team. I am on Team Hank. To be clear.
All right, Jared, you got your work cut out for you. I'll get more popcorn.
Dude, I'll let you know. I'm not a logical mathematician on this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, and I took tautology in university like 25 years ago, so it's not my forte either. I'm not a lawyer. But sometimes,
Yeah,
you know, and this
went
may
to
be
university. That's something.
I was just thinking though, sometimes this may be sacrilegious to people with a more religious upbringing than me, but I sometimes think about like the idea of God in this sort of the idea of when political correctness was first introduced, like beyond just being noble and virtuous beings, you know, like which I think there was a point where, you know, I think that anyways, I don't want to get into some imaginary fantasy land of the past that could be the future. But what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, there's some point along the way where we started really policing each other and what we said. Now, were we all assholes before that, saying whatever we wanted? Or did something happen that had us saying things in a way that we felt we needed to start making rules and telling each other what and who and how to say? And eventually, you know, creating an environment where, you know, people are somehow conditioned to think they're responsible for each other's feelings with every word they speak, you know. And my point to this is that there is this movement of political correctness amongst us, right? There is this, you know, this entity that has no body, that is a force in our society, you know, and it's called political correctness, you know.
Yes, an egregore.
It's an
about
egregore.
Hank,
Yeah.
stop with the micro expressions. I saw that. Don't do that.
So to me, like, you know, it's sacrilegious to take it independent of the whole story of what we are, where we come from, who we are, why are we bound by these quirks this way, different than the wall, you know, all of those kinds of things that are pretty freaking deep. And I think to most of humanity, at least I can only speak from my own experience as a small child, that mattered. I didn't need a religious upbringing to tell my beingness that I had purpose, right? That I had meaning beyond just this being a meaningful experience, that I have meaning and not more important than anyone else around me, right? So I'm not going on, I don't mean to go on some sort of pulpit here. I'm just saying that this concept of God and its beingness, if political correctness exists, you know, on the smallest thread, so does God. For like to an atheist, if you can believe political correctness exists because we believe and we act because we made it exist, you know, now we're getting into dangerous territory where it looks like humans made up the concept of God. And that's where I don't want to venture into, you know, some sort of sacrilegious by trying to take such a great concept, you know, the concept, you know, with all the capital letters and reduce it to a little PC, a tiny PC, you know?
But
anyway,
I am.
anyway.
If humans made God, then God exists. Period.
If God made humans, then would humans exist?
Yes.
But I'm not a religious debater. You know, that's why I made that comment of, you know, I think that's the thing I've watched the most between people online is, you know, who am I to judge if, you know, and if there is a God, which I believe there is, right? But if there is a God, then why would God create one language of belief, of faith, you know, like, so you can get people of faith claiming their faith regardless of their belief system, like regardless of the religious title they put on it. But you get these atheists claiming no faith, right? And in essence, I'm not here, like, so to someone with faith, they're like, look, you have no faith, but we don't know. All I'm trying to say is if there's different languages in the world that we can see and misunderstand each other, then we can all speak the same language, speak a different ism, and not understand that that person is still talking about God, right? And still sharpening their arguments and still in disbelief. Who's their main topic of conversation? God, right? So I don't know. I see more faithful atheists speaking good language about God than sometimes I see Christians talking nothing but Satan and Lucifer. You know? So just a thought. Anyways,
Yes.
sorry.
So the Pharisees are the Christian Pharisees that preach Christianity but don't act like it. Is that what you're talking about?
Some of them, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
And I would say in some cases, those people may have been set up centuries ago as almost like a double agent just by indoctrination. Like I'm just saying, they may not even know, right? Like they're, you know, a lot of people, you know, fake it till they make it, and in doing so, end up acting superstitiously and probably with a lot of cognitive dissonance. You know. But I'm not, you know, that's sort of me, that's me being judgmental and saying that I can judge someone else's faith by the words they speak to me. And that's just not an appropriate thing to do. I can't see their heart, you know?
It's not politically correct. Yeah.
So
no,
what I would love to see,
I think everybody has to have some kind of belief. And if they don't know they have a belief, they're just unaware of it. They're delusional that they have a belief. Like you can't really operate in the world without some kind of belief.
It's true.
You have to at least believe in reality.
That's like survival. You have to have.
You have to believe that you're real. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have some functioning that will help me break through the wall, man. I want to go through the wall.
Yeah.
it's like people who tend to vilify the education system in the West, or, that think that they were in some prison camp being trained to be a work slave or whatever they like to imagine that as a child, you had this clean slate, and with a different framework, you turned out some sort of image of perfection or something, like blaming, but you need a framework to tear apart and rebuild. Like, you have to think something, you have to be presented, like you're saying, a belief system of some sort. And I just don't think that it wouldn't matter what and how it was presented. There would be people questioning. There would always be resistance. That's the beauty of humanity. That's how we end up with people questioning everything that we've agreed upon and now denying. Almost, like, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people that believe almost everything they've been taught is a lie, and
Yeah,
and
there's
to
the
me,
two extremes.
Yeah. And I think you'd have that no matter what. Like, that's just the way humanity breaks apart and puts back together, their belief system, each individual person.
Well, I mean, everything we were taught is a lie to some degree. Like, it can't be truth, but it could be more true than what their parents were taught.
Yeah. Although I think that lies, to me, a lie is an intentional, an intentional, and I'm sure that's been done. Of course that's been done. There's lots of times where.
Yeah, what people mean, though, when they say everything we've been taught was a lie, was more we've been brainwashed to be worker bees.
Yes. And and people don't realize that, human beings, mythology is very important to us, right? You and I could have a fight right now. I could have a fight on this panel with one of you guys right here. I'm going to go away, even though the evidence is here on the panel. I'm going to go away, call my friend, talk to her about my perspective. I'm going to fill in all the gaps, right? Oh, well, I know Hank, he's this and that, and this and that, and this is why he did that. You see, and eventually we're going to, depending on how big this fight is, right? If we were two world leaders, there's going to be filling in the gaps, not only to tell a story that's appropriate for the news or whatever, but just it's human nature to fill in the gaps with mythology, or with logical inferences that make sense to everyone, but isn't necessarily the case of what happened, So I think we run with that. I think we as a society we're all like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like that's why Hank did that. And we just run with it. And hundreds of years later, Hank isn't here to defend himself. And,
Look at the bright side. If they had 10 friends or family, they could use OPS to figure out what Hank did.
You need 10, though. Yeah. Hank doesn't have enough friends.
How
many friends are you missing?
You can't even have that many people up on that StreamYard panel.
That's right.
Because count yourself, then you only have 9 people. So full panel is one short.
So why a Tuesday, not a Thursday? Is something coming up on Thursday, or is this a bonus show?
No, I'm changed it to Tuesdays for the last couple times. Thursday is the day I either go to the army or come back from the army, so it's a little stressful for me.
Yeah.
It's more relaxed this way.
Yeah.
It's also better for me because my weekend starts today instead of ends on the day. So it's actually more convenient for me too.
Oh, nice. Bonus, 2 birds.
Yep.
May I ask what go to the army means, or do I not want to know?
I don't know if you want to know or not.
The seller, then she could say, shut up if it offends her.
That's a euphemism for he goes to Las Vegas and he strikes it rich every Tuesday. So
I was hoping it was something like that.
No, I'm doing 1 week on, 1 week off right now in the army. So this is my week off right now.
I see. Work.
No, reserve duty.
No, reserve duty.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to sound like Jack Talcott here, but I hope one day you don't have to go, and no one ever has to go.
That's a good hope. I agree.
Unless we're protecting ourselves from, like, the Wraith.
The Wraith? What is the Wraith?
It's it's the main enemy alien in the Star Trek series. They feed off humans to live. So I was just saying, like,
Star Trek?
if we as humans, yeah.
I thought the main name was Borg on Star Trek.
No, Stargate. Sorry, Stargate. If I said Star Trek,
Stargate,
I
okay.
misspoke.
okay.
Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah,
So unless we had to
Ray
unify,
over Borg, seems much
Yeah.
more humane.
mm-hmm. Yeah, especially after they did create a Wraith human hybrid, Michael. Anyways, blah blah blah. Whatever. So they were trying.
Stargate, yeah. My brother
Yeah.
liked that show. I never got into it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zephyr,
I saw the movie.
I
The
would
movie
think
was-
is a friend. Yes.
What do you think about like the original movie from way back in the day? I haven't seen it in a long time.
I like them all. I like
okay.
them all. Yeah. It's my favorite sci-fi series, Stargate.
Sweet.
But I also like them all. I'm in the process of watching Battlestar Galactica, not right at this moment, but with a friend in Discord. We meet daily for a couple hours and watch a few shows together.
The best Mormon
Breaking Bad.
nonfiction ever.
What's my favorite sci-fi? I guess
Yeah,
it's
where's Chris to say nerd alert? Here he goes. Chris usually calls us nerds.
Yeah, I think my favorite sci-fi is technically Dragon Ball. Benjamin, what's
Dragon
your
Ball
favorite
is sci-fi?
It has sci-fi elements.
Okay.
It's time travel, it's space travel, it's magic.
Okay. All right.
So I have a question
Go ahead, Bex.
for you guys about personality typing. And I know it's not your area of expertise, the Myers-Briggs, but obviously you're probably used to sort of juxtaposing these things. I've seen you guys use the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, we all know it. We all know Myers-Briggs here.
Do you guys think that, and I don't know enough about the OPS, so do you guys think that the Myers-Briggs test, people can change their personality types over their lifetime? Like that, I mean, obviously a test you can answer, it's going to give you a different assignment, but
That's right.
do you think that, because I feel like that can really change a lot, the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, according to gifts differing, pretty much since type preferences change over time, your type will change over time too. If it hits if it hits so far a threshold, but it's a threshold, your type will change over time according to gifts differing, since it's based on they say it's based on your preferences.
Does that happen in OPS personality typing? No.
And so Young basically calls you a personality type when you get imbalanced. So he defines the functions and then he says, oh, if you're really imbalanced in this function, then that becomes your type. So really what would happen, I would think, over time is you would try to get more balanced and then you would stop being a type altogether.
Okay.
Has anyone stopped being a type?
No. From what
No.
we've seen in OPS, everyone still has their functions. And you can't get rid of them.
Nope.
What if you died? When you lose your type?
Yeah, only Jesus was an INFJ in real life, and when he died, then he's a perfect type after that. So.
Is that what happened? Okay.
That's what I say what happened. Well, I don't know. He's up there. He's floating through imaginary walls up in space, and
here's my question: if he was a type and he was God, then how is he only seeing a portion of reality? Because that's what a type is. You're not seeing all of reality because of your type.
Well, according
You're only seeing a portion.
According to Mormonism, Jesus had to come down and get a body and experience what it would be like to be limited in human capacity.
So he had to have a type.
Yeah, so he had to have a body, had to have a type, and he had to go through life and suffer. So that when he's God, he could have even more empathy towards the little people.
Zephyr says Zero is the fool is Jesus and tarot. So I need to get a virtual tarot card set. I'm gonna make a virtual tarot card set sooner rather than later. Shouldn't be that hard.
I thought that
That's my physical one. This one here.
How can you?
I thought the trickster was the fool. Isn't the fool and the trickster the same? Jesus is somebody else, isn't he? He's like the wise prophet or wise man or something. That's how I would categorize it. But
I'm okay with him being a fool. I don't mind that.
yeah, given your hatred of narrative, yeah, that makes sense. He's your trickster. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Yeah.
Let's go. Don't.
You know,
Well,
that
because in Mormonism, Jesus is not God. God is God, and God or Jesus is just one of God's kids, and then he has to come and get a body. I'm going for Mormonism when I grew up, but so
Right.
it's not accurate. I'm not.
But-
Mormonism and Christianity are a little bit different beasts.
Well, yeah, Mormons are a type of Christianity. I tried and didn't like it myself.
I don't think it's a type of Christianity.
They
Yeah,
would tell you it was though.
They claim they're Christians. Oh yeah, they believe in
Yeah.
God. And if you say they're not Christians, they'll be offended. Be like, no, we're Christians.
Oh,
We believe
really?
in God.
All right.
Yeah.
We believe in Jesus.
Well-
Yeah. Oh yeah.
one of my favorite things about the Mormon church is that it's a layman's church. There's no priest, there's no pastor. There's an elder that's in charge of the, they're elected or appointed. Him and his wife, he's in
Yeah.
charge of like the church and
And-
setting up the service and
Called-
stuff. But the
Called
first
bishop.
hour, the first hour, bishop they're called.
Yeah, he's called a bishop, and
Yeah.
it's membership roulette. You could get a good bishop that knows what he's doing, or you could get somebody who's totally incompetent and doesn't know what he's doing and can give you
Yeah.
very bad advice.
But what's approachable about the Mormon church for people who weren't raised in religion is like, because it's a layman's church, every Sunday a member of the congregation, it's actually usually two of them, one being the main speaker, a husband-wife team, a father-daughter team,
Sounds like
sometimes it's
OPS.
one. I don't know if women speak alone or if they usually go up with with someone.
You'd have different speakers every week. It could be
Yeah.
a couple. If you're brand new, they might have a couple come up. It could be one single man doing a topic, and then another person of any gender, whatever age, doing a topic. So
Yeah. And they typically they'll tell their story. They'll tell a story of Joseph Smith. They'll tell a story of Jesus. Those
they
three
won't
all
tell a
linked in
story.
together.
They'll like bear their testimony and tell you that it's absolutely true, and that everybody else just nods and says amen.
Mm. Well, the next hour they break into groups of like 5 or 6 people and study a virtue, together,
They
men and
break
women
into a
combined.
Sunday school class.
Yeah,
The young
yeah.
people go together. The older people go together. They go through each year. They have like different things they learn. They'll go one year learning about the Bible, the New Testament, Old Testament, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and they'll rotate through those 4. Every 4 years, they'll rotate it. Have Sunday school lessons, go through the history, and have a little moral lessons attached to that every single
You're
week.
back.
And then when I was there, we had a third hour, and that would be when the women all went together, and then all the men went together to their meetings. So.
Yeah, I couldn't do the 3 hours whenever I went. I always went with a friend. I mean, I like going to church with people. I've always loved going to church with people, whatever church, to be honest. Some more than others. Ones that don't stand up, and a lot of Western churches, anyways. As a child, when I was seeking out this kind of, these families to hang out with, a lot of churches preach a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear mongering, I found. And as a young child, that's not what I was looking for. And that's what I enjoyed about the Mormon church, is you don't get a lot of that because of the nature of the way it's set up. I'm not saying it's better or worse or anything. I'm just saying
it's under the surface. They have a lot of fear and shaming as well.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's outside of religion. That's
Yeah,
pretty
don't
normal
lead
in
with it.
Western society.
No, the whole structure is predicated upon you not being perfect. Like their main theme is be ye therefore perfect, and then they make you feel bad, and then you're supposed to go to church to become perfect and pay tithing and do all the things you're supposed to do and be in a high demand religion so you can be perfect. It's like a trap.
Yeah. the funny thing is that if God's perfect, why does He need money? Why does He need my money to maintain your temple?
Because that's
so-
doing the work of God, baby.
But isn't He
Well-
omnipotent?
Huh?
Can't He do His own work with no effort?
No. Well, then you wouldn't learn.
Oh, okay.
He wants you to learn, just like God had to come down. Jesus had to come down and get a body and learn. You have to learn.
But can't He just zap that information into my head if you want
Huh?
me? He does want me to learn that way. We learn the slow way.
Because you're a hard-necked people, man. You gave
Can't
you
you
those
just-
10
can't
commandments.
you just fix that?
Enough. You need to ratchet it up, baby.
No. I don't know.
I saw that American Primeval show. They had Mormons there.
Yeah. We talked about it a couple weeks ago when you had bad internet. Yeah, I like that show. The depiction of them is pretty accurate. I think like the way they talked though sounded different, and some of the stuff wasn't 100% accurate. But
yeah, the ST on the show kind of bothered me. Like it was
the what?
It wasn't believable.
The what?
The ST.
What? Oh, the ST.
Yeah, it wasn't believable. Some of the ways things played out.
Yeah, like some of this stuff was a little, but the general push of like there was actually a Mountain Meadows massacre that happened. They actually did that. That actually happened, but yeah, they like compressed all this time and put it into one thing. It's like a longer, drawn out political machinations and a whole bunch of other stuff.
They made the Mormons to be really bad guys.
Dude, they were bad, man.
Okay.
Okay, like
Jared.
Yo.
Well, no, go ahead. I have a question for you when you're done.
All right. So like from their point of view, the Mormons were kicked out of Missouri. Well, they're kicked out of Illinois. They moved into Illinois to Nauvoo, Illinois, started making their own city. All their people came and went there. Then the neighbors in Illinois got paranoid because they all voted in a block, right? Joseph Smith was the leader of the church. He had his own militia, and he crowned himself king of the world and was running for president of the United States.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was cool.
So
and he beat the IRS.
They freaking.
That was like Trump in a previous life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously, yeah. So they killed him. And the Mormons went to Missouri, had a whole bunch of bad interactions. They finally fled to Utah to get away from the United States. Then Utah made it part of their territory, right? So like Brigham Young was like very, very paranoid and like tried to keep people out. So when people were coming over on wagon trains going over, he won absolute control. And so he would do all this rhetoric about them being evil, and they murdered a whole like train load of people from Kansas or Oklahoma. I can't remember, but
wow. And so how do they get around that today? How do they describe that? He's got
they
a book.
apologized a couple 10 years ago. They built a monument down in southern Utah where it happened, and they apologized.
Really?
And there's a book called The Mountain Meadows Massacre by Juanita Brooks. That's probably the best source you're going to find on the subject.
Nice.
Yeah, they did a lot of cover up. They covered it up for decades and decades. And yeah, that's how you take over land, though.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. So can you guys hear the refrigerator running? Okay, it's driving me crazy. There's something with the fan, and it's just the audio's. Yeah, I'm glad.
In whose house?
Oh, me over here. That refrigerator. No. So Jared, this was something Russ was talking about a few weeks ago. Have you heard of this white horse prophecy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because Russ grew up Mormon, and so he was reading a Reddit thing, and people were all chattering about the parallels that like something like when the Constitution is hanging by a thread,
Yeah, I've
the
heard that all of my life.
FBI will save America. And what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of FBI members are Mormon,
Yeah.
just culturally, because they're trustworthy and
Yep.
honest people. So he just thought that was funny. It's like, it's happening.
Oh.
People are out there saying like, oh, it's happening, it's coming true.
Okay, you live in the West as well, and like in the West, man, it's a mountain culture, so like they're very paranoid, and all of our history with the government coming in and taking over the land and doing other stuff that happened later on after that mountain massacre thing. Like people are paranoid in the West, and they have like a anti-governmental bent to them that you would not believe, man. I know there's some in like Eastern Oregon and Washington, and Idaho. And it's like, and it's not just the Mormons, it's like Christians and other people too. They're just like paranoid beyond belief, and it's just like a conspiracy brain just like goes. And like that kind of stuff, rhetoric, it is like in the water. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I used to live in that region in Eastern Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll look at old Bible verses and be like, "Yep, that means that's Trump. He's doing the right thing," and it's like.
How did Russ get out of being a Mormon, and his twin brother too?
Yeah, they're really both really logical, and they were about 13, and the father took them aside, and the father he wore like he wore like
white horse.
Oh yeah. The father was very Mormon. He wore like the underwear. There's like ceremonial underwear that you wear. Mormons wear special panties or something. So
it protects you.
Yeah, the father took the boys aside and said, "Hey, it doesn't seem like you're really into this. It doesn't seem like you're really into the church thing." And asked, they had a conversation, and the father said, "Well, you don't have to go. It's up to you." And then they just stopped going at that age, 13.
That's cool.
See, we had the exact opposite thing. My brother started rebelling at about that same age. And instead of going to church, he wanted to stay home. So my dad gave him a list a mile long of all the chores he had to do while we were at church.
Yeah, and the father, I think, like, sympathized. So he was also highly logical. He was an engineer at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. But yeah, at the same time, he totally bought in to this whole, Mormon stuff.
And so after we got home from church, we were driving, and we could see my brother. He was in the backyard picking weeds or whatever, and he saw us coming, so he ran and he jumped on the TV or on the couch, and he turned the TV on and pretended he was relaxing. Like. No, but like that, like the narrative of that is just, it can be destructive. Like, see, that's what I think. Like, if the closer a narrative is to the truth, that's the one I want to try to pick.
Right. Yeah, I guess they like the American narrative. They became a part of it for sure, like a very influential part.
That's weird because like you need crazy mofos to go out and conquer land. Like it got people out here. It got people to settle and go farther out. But
and kill the Indians.
Yeah, that's yep. That's the story of humanity, man. What's right is what's might. My might makes
might is right.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah. Been doing it for 100,000 years plus. So
I saw a cool thing this week on native agriculture and how they had different crops there in North America. Like there's native crops to North America that they kind of went extinct or they stopped farming. There's like 5 or 6 they were talking about. Yeah. Let's see if I can pull up the list.
I know they have the rice, squash, and beans, or not rice, but the squash, beans, and one other one. Oh, corn, squash, and beans.
So
And they
corn
had-
apparently replaced everything. That corn was just.
but corn's from America though.
Is it? Are you sure?
Well, it used to be maize. Then we genetically engineered it.
Maize. I don't. Are you sure it's from America?
Yeah. It's from like Mexico somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be like a little grass thing.
Yeah.
Like we did.
Yeah. It's a little.
So anyway, yeah,
Like
maize
bread-
apparently took over everything.
Yeah, we selectively bred it a lot, then we genetically engineered it.
Yeah, but they were doing trading with Mexico way back in thousands of years ago. They had like a trade routes and stuff.
So there's something called pit seed. Do you know what pit seed is? Does Annie know? Sounds like Annie would know that kind of thing. No. Goosefoot.
Why would I know that?
I don't know. You know that kind of stuff.
That's because it's a small
Like
SI thing.
Herbs and
It's like-
agriculture stuff. No.
Well, no, I just have a lot of general knowledge. I know a lot of things, but I don't know that one.
Goosefoot.
That name sounds familiar. I know we have a plant here called that. I don't know if it's the same thing though.
I was interested because I'm like, whoa, there's like different staples that we could be having. Like we could have, like, I mean, it doesn't have all the evolution of agriculture anymore, but doesn't mean we can't evolve it.
We got cattails, but I don't know if it's edible.
Something called maygrass.
Huh, that's interesting because there's a really good book called 1492, and it's like about the Columbia Exchange. It's like how America was and Europe was before Columbus landed, right? So they talks about all the different plant exchange and disease exchange and stuff like that. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read that, like 15 years ago.
Interesting. Okay. There's something else called knotweed.
That sounds familiar.
I don't know. Just looking at these potential agricultural things.
Well, that's how agricultural sort of started back in the Levant. Like they just have all those wild grasses growing around, and then the ones that were most beneficial probably proliferated and won the battle.
Yeah, and co-evolved with humans. So, yeah, the problem with them now, there's no more crops, so you have to grab them wild and then selectively breed them again to make them edible.
Yeah, well, I think isn't that what all the grains we have now were selectively bred by humans?
Yeah, for sure. Everything we have. Like if you look at the way ancient food looked before it was selectively bred, it's very like the wild stuff, like bananas.
Yeah, it's like that big.
Right.
It's like
or tomatoes were weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Avocados almost went extinct as the animals who partnered with the avocados plants and was involved in its propagation was hunted to extinction. Oh yeah, wasn't it like the giant sloths?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was giant sloths that were.
Yeah, avocados aren't easy to grow. Like it's like you have to put them in water for a certain amount of time, and then.
So like, did it like in the ancient days? It like passed through a digestive gut of a giant sloth or something?
Oh, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Man, I White Horse Prophecy. I'm gonna have to take that one. All right, I gotta get going anyway. All right,
later.
Peace out.
Yeah, I know corn used to look like wheat.
Yeah, it's like a modified grass. It's like It's like like really small like that, and then it just elongated over time, and now it's like humongous.
Yeah,
but it's like I don't know how many thousands of years that took.
If that's the case, why doesn't wheat look like corn?
It's a different beginning material.
The size of seeds in a plant changes based on the strength, like the stress of the mother plant, right, and the age of the plant. So, if you come across wild rose hips, for instance, they don't look at all like a rose bush in your yard. You can let your yard, if you let your yard go fallow or whatever the word would be, over time, eventually your rose bushes, it'll take years and years and years. They have to become super stressed and be on the verge of dying, or at least stressed for the water that it needs because the root system, and you'll end up with these, instead of flowers, you end up with these bulbs that grow full of seeds. And that's because the seeds of the plant, the plant eventually is going to die and it knows it. And so the plant adjusts to a kind of way of different way of propagating. The animals come, eat the berries. They're delicious. Rose hips are amazing. They're way more citrus than rose oil. It looks like it could, to some people, look like a different plant. So when people say that they've genetically modified plants to have smaller seeds, sometimes it could be nature taught the scientists how to do that. For instance, if I take a stressed banana seed and I bring it into and create an entire banana grove or whatever they're called, and I have hundreds of banana trees, those trees are not stressed. They're not worried about propagation. They know from one seed an entire orchard was generated, and there's no need to propagate. So they create plants with less and less seeds. And over time, the scientists likely learned how to modify that and, play with the hormones so that the plants know that they're not stressed. Well, they're not stressed if they're being grown in a greenhouse with water and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of people think that genetic modification means like major scientific manipulation. Some genetic modification that had no scientific, it was just learning. The scientists just learned from the plants. So so a seedless plant, for instance, is not necessarily totally forced by science. Nature, like it happens in nature, just like a seedless plant becomes seeded when stressed. So some of these changes would have happened evolutionarily, and you can force a plant. Most plants that are GMO modified in a way that we know the structure has changed in 3 or 4 generations, they will tend back to their natural state. And in essence, we need this stuff. Apple trees, for instance, are not a seed to fruit bearing plant. So apple trees have been grafted for centuries. You take a sweet apple tree, you grow the seed of an apple, you graft a good apple tree to it, because 90,000, it's like 1 in 90,000 is a sweet apple. The rest will be crab apples. That's a hearsay fact. But the general philosophy is there. So it's just interesting how people can think that, everything Monsanto's done, or, it's sort of implied that it's all been done in a destructive capacity, but without Monsanto, which half of the world don't you want to have here? Right?
Yeah, I prefer to have more food. Praise God and praise Bear.
Yeah, this is what corn used to be before selective breeding. This is what corn used to be.
They're little, right? Aren't they little? And where?
Looks like
I'm trying to see which.
How am I supposed to eat that? They look like peas. Well, I can eat peas.
Oh
still.
yeah, there. That's where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just put it on your pizza and eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably what wild corn looks like now, still to this day. It may not look exactly the same, but.
Strawberries are not berries. They're not even a single fruit. It's a conglomerate of many fruit.
Oh, sort of like the strawberry itself.
Yeah, it's not even a single fruit, yeah.
But that kind of stuff would have been learned in nature, too. The cross-pollination of fruit trees.
Look, that's what cucumbers used to look like. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
You definitely skinned those ones before you ate them.
Right? Yeah, so anyway, here's tomatoes. So like these native plants seem like you need to go through some kind of selective breeding to get them to some kind of edible form, I guess. What did we
I think to a more what would the word be? A more efficient edible form, because I think they were still edible.
Yeah, they were still edible, but yeah more efficient, sure. What was one of them? Linseed? No.
Goosefoot.
Goosefoot. Yeah, that was one.
And knotweed.
Right. Yeah, like that's got to turn into corn, whatever that was. Like it's got to turn into here. Like that's not really edible. You have to selectively breed the hell out of this. What was the other one? Knotweed. Good memory.
Well, the knotweed was easier to remember because I wondered if it was the same as kinnicknick, which it's not.
Yeah. Let's see if I could go back and look at the. What's up, Mimo? By the way.
Yo,
How's life?
good, good. Yeah, those plants are interesting.
Yeah, they
I
are.
sent your
Something.
application to a second team.
Okay, good. Thanks. Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna do another video, but then I ended up traveling. But I had to do time to do it Wednesday, but I'll probably record it after
Yeah.
this.
If you have additional information for them, there's probably still enough time to submit, additional footage. So
All right, cool. Thanks.
yeah.
This is sumpweed, whatever that is.
So, I've personally never seen these in my entire life.
I'm pretty
Right?
sure I've seen, yeah, if not them, something like it here in the West Coast. Definitely that sumpweed one looks very familiar.
Yeah.
But you can go into some of the forests here still in the West Coast and you'll find that there is still fruit trees and stuff like that. And I do liken it to I do think it has to do with the natives and their planting of agriculture more than some homesteader that the homestead's gone. Because of how deep in the forest some of these fruit trees can be.
Nice.
This is
Old stress
maygrass.
fruit trees.
That looks like wheat. Maygrass.
It sure
No.
does.
It looks way more like it has way more kernels on it.
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
kind of like wheat, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you don't know. Like, there's all these plants out there. You don't know if like selective breeding could have made them into something like the new tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like wheat. What was the last one? Pit seed. Oh, that looks way easier, actually. It looks like it has gone through selective breeding. Oh, goosefoot seed. Okay. This is goosefoot. It's just the seed from it. Pit seed, goosefoot.
So you can selectively breed dogs and plants. That's pretty interesting.
Yes, you can selectively breed dogs and plants. Pretty much any animal or plant. Yeah.
Yes, but we cannot
And humans
selectively
too.
breed dogs with plants because that would break evolution. That would break God's plan.
That's true.
You
But
know,
humans too. You can selectively breed humans.
You can selectively breed dogs to make them edible too.
And they can selectively use some fish cells in some fruits and vegetables. But it's also interesting to note that there's actually some fish that could be classified as plants.
Interesting.
Oh yes, I remember that for
Mhm.
school lunch programs.
Interesting.
Regulations, funny. And they I think one of them classified pizzas as vegetables too.
Interesting. Well, I know they did. One of the things that was admitted about 20 years ago was using some sort of fish genome to thicken tomato skins.
Yeah, I don't think it was that hidden. They
Yeah,
used Gene. Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. I think I probably misspoke there, but it was revealed that they were doing that.
Yeah. It's not as bad as it sounds.
No.
Alfalfa.
I haven't had alfalfa in a while. But it's pretty much tastes kind of like lettuce, but it has a different texture.
What are you saying,
Alfalfa is
Nemo?
like butter?
Where are you traveling these days?
I just went to Tulsa. It's like another city in Oklahoma for my cousin's little play performance. Oh, it was actually interesting. I guess we can talk about it. It was about, well, if what's her name was here. It was about Anastasia. I don't know if you heard of it. Um, it's about this one of the it's about this little girl who is a part of the Romanov dynasty from the fall of Russia before it became a communist country. And yeah,
Okay.
and so yeah, it was about this Anastasia girl who was, I guess it was rumored back then that it was like, oh, somebody from the Romanov family is still alive, even though they all got slaughtered from Lenin and his troops or whatever. And
So like there's still Russian royalty alive?
yeah, maybe it's like a myth. So nobody knows if it's true or not, but they made a play out of it in the 90s.
Oh.
So.
If it was true, Putin would have killed them by now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But wouldn't Putin be the royalty by default? Since he killed all the others?
If someone had a legitimate claim to the throne, I don't know.
If I think that if there was an Anastasia and she was taken somewhere, that she was hidden in Queen Victoria's, one of Queen Victoria's 9 children. That'd be my theory. I'd throw that out there.
Inside their children, like a babushka
Well, not
doll?
inside the children. No, adopted into the family as a British
right.
royal and passed off as one of her 9 children.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's smart. That's smart. Yeah, there's this whole thing where they, like, I guess she went to like Paris or whatever, or allegedly went to Paris. Yeah.
What's
She probably went to Argentina and hid there, and then all the Nazis
Argentina?
just took notes and followed her.
so this was a play your cousin was doing yesterday?
Yeah, for high school. I was
Oh, high
expecting
school, okay.
something political.
Sweet.
How did it go? Did they have fun?
Yeah, it was good. They had fun. They're growing their theater program, so it was like a big thing. And yeah, it's cool.
Sweet. How's the new channel pivot going, Hank, with your video games?
So I'm still trying to figure out my OBS configuration, so I didn't complete the pivot. It will be completed very soon, though. That's it. I spent too much time helping other people with their stuff, so I didn't focus on my stuff. Like yesterday, I was gonna do some.
You're doing the TE for everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn tribe. But yeah,
Damn
I was gonna work my OBS configuration for Blizzy Blind when we did give a presentation on the Keystone Cop crew and said no, just play my video. And he did play the video, but then he went. I think I took a nap after I got home, but he need help with his drama people on stage, and I didn't even know any of those people. But I went and helped him with that. Then I helped him cross over with OTW yesterday as well. So I worked on his stuff. I still got some of my high priority stuff, like I did update low trouble work done, and I got most of the presentation done all the way back on Saturday when I was sick. Too sick to do that whole set that I do on Saturday, but I was not too sick to do the via paper. So, but yeah, I was pretty much I was using my T for the tribe instead for myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, TE.
Yeah, that's a lot of TE.
Yeah, Mimo, what about you? What about your type? You think cognitive resolution will help you, or you think you got yours type figured out?
I've been watching those. So there's not really many SI sleep people, but I watched. It's interesting because I watched the SI, these two SI chicks, the Ayan, her C, Middle Eastern girl.
Oh,
That's
right. She's INTP, right?
yeah. And then I also watched Cassie J, the FISI
Okay.
mouse girl. And I was like, yeah, there's some obviously overlaps, but I'm finishing up Ion right now, and I was like, yeah, I see where Angel sees, but now I'm fixing to go into these NIFIs. Like, I already watched Lil Wayne, he's crazy. But like, there's also the Gabor Mate dude. I'm gonna
Right.
study next. He's the INTJ dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's like I can't concretely prove anything. Like I'm just running in circles. But
That's why Hank loves OPS.
yes. So yeah, all I know is FI. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I guess I can just go another 3 months doing the same thing, but I'll still be running in circles. So
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, OPS is good for circles.
I mean, if I really wanted to get typed full on, probably have to go like live a month with Dave's and just have him follow me, like, and just type me.
That sounds very expensive.
Yeah.
I would rather just buy a test on Truity. That's what I did.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah, why get the right answer when you can pay a little bit of money and get the wrong answer?
well, you get. So here's the thing: you can't just have Dave follow you around. You need to get 9 other people to follow you around, or can't possibly be right. So
You know,
there's.
I was actually considering your celebrity strategy, Hank. That was actually pretty good. I could just exploit that. And instead of paying money, I just pay time. I have to wait another few years, and then I get typed for free.
Yeah, when you
Exactly.
become a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my strategy too.
Smart. Yeah, I'm just gonna
Very
do
easy to
that.
get my MBTI type though. I mean, no one even commented and said it was wrong.
Well, you said your MBTI was ENTJ, right, Hank?
Yep.
Oh.
And my Enneagram was tri type was 854. And I guess my MBTI type changed slightly from INTJ to ENTJ. So at least historically,
On the spectrum of people, Hank, are you more organized or less organized?
I'm more organized.
But on the spectrum of people, Annie is also more organized.
Yes, she's more organized. I mean, when I co-host on the show, it starts on time.
It starts on time. Why it doesn't
Yes.
start on time when you're not co-host?
You used to be a habit where it starts a few minutes late, but when I'm here, it just starts on time.
I think Gandalf has an answer to this. A wizard arrives precisely when he means to, or something.
Nice. I mean, Hank's hats are pretty organized.
Right. But Annie's house and dishes are pretty organized too.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know how you would even look at that coin.
I went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Disorganized, organized,
organized?
I was fastidiously organized as a young woman. I knew where everything was, and I had my routine, and I could move homes and set up my house very quickly. Everything, yeah, I don't know where it began, but I am definitely not like that anymore.
I don't believe you.
I wish that were the case, Hank. But in action, in thought, action's all that matters.
What primed you to get more organized or less organized?
Well, there would be different phases along the way. I know at one point, there was one point where I can remember in my Tupperware cupboard, I used to have like everything very organized, lids here and bottoms there and da 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 da. And eventually it evolved to the shove the plastic in the cupboard, just throw the plastic in there. And I can remember making a conscious choice to do that. And I'm not sure why. I think it was about letting go of that kind of perfectionism,
So here's the thing. If you can find it in the same amount of time, it's organized enough.
That's true. That's true. And even at that time, I wouldn't have been the person that had the bottom without a top. Like I just wouldn't, it just wouldn't have been my nature to lose.
So you could still find the tops of all your containers.
Yeah.
You can still find them in like under 2 minutes. I think you're organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a funny moment in a therapy session last week where the therapist accidentally dropped a pen on the floor, and I was about to get up and get it. It's just my instinct. And she said, no, I'll get it in a minute. And then she said, she said, are you okay if that's on the floor? Does that bother you? And I said, I'm totally fine. I said, my sister couldn't handle it, but I'm okay.
Oh, wow.
and she thought that was funny.
Yeah, it must be weird with your sister because she's technically extroverted and you're technically introverted, but your first function is opposite. Like you have an extroverted function.
Yeah, and she will, if you ask her, she'll say, "Oh, I'm so introverted. I'm just so introverted." But then her schedule is packed and she's got meetings and she's just going. So yeah.
And so she is more organized than you, that you see?
Yeah, it's easy and effortless for her, but everyone got her as MF, but she seriously seems feminine sensory to me. She just forgets so much. And that's something she complains about. And that's how my mom is too, really forgetful. And my mom also is getting older and it seems to be getting worse. And so for a few years, I've been wondering, like, how do you tell if there's some component of cognitive decline coming in? Like how do you determine that, because my mom's mind is not as sharp as it used to be.
Yeah, they've got tests and stuff. I mean, everyone declines a little bit. That's why IQ tests are in age ranges.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still puzzling over my sister's type. Second team did her, and one person on the team got her the exact same as me, and I just can't. I can't see her as the exact same type as me.
Yeah.
And the nature versus nurture stuff is, she definitely has worse anxiety, OCD, intrusive thoughts, way more than I do.
Yeah.
And she actually has the diagnosis of OCD. And she also told me bipolar, and I was just like, okay, wait, are these labels useful for you? Like,
you don't the labels.
I don't. Well, because everybody has ups and downs. I mean, when she said bipolar, I was like, you know what? Life is hard. Like, I don't think you're bipolar.
There's a form of bipolar that used to be called a unipolar mood disorder. They changed it into bipolar type 1 and type 2. And maybe, again, this is just another phrase, it's just another definition and another label, but sometimes it might not seem so manic and might fit your sister better. A unipolar mood disorder, bipolar type 2, I think I don't know. Anyways, it's having long swings of emotional states. So you'll have like and not, way less mania. So long weeks and weeks of down and weeks of up kind of thing, but not with the same spikes, not nearly as high or low as bipolar, the other type.
Yeah,
And then I was
yeah,
going to
she
ask
did.
you,
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you with, you said that your sister, it's easy to her, it's effortless. Is it, do you think, or does she just make it look that way?
No, I mean, it's just so innate. When she was a baby, she would organize her toys, like put them in piles and clean up her room. I didn't do that when I was little. My room was a disaster, and I felt overwhelmed. So for me, I'm very organized because I've created a system finally, and I update my systems over time. But when I walk into a room and nothing is categorized, it's very, very overwhelming for me to build the system. But once it's built, and I think it's just been like my evolution and maturity, over time. Yeah.
If labels are something that your sister has received and seem to fit and she's okay with, she might find looking into the neurodivergent spectrum more meticulously, looking into the Lost Girls of Autism, and specifically the four classifications of neurodivergence at this point and how many fit you when you have giftedness under it as well. Not to say, I mean, all humans have their gifts, but this means like exceptional intelligence, OCD-like behaviors, ADHD or ADHD and autism are under the spectrum. Specifically, Asperger's, which has been cast out now as because of whatever. That's more where you'd be looking, is the Lost Girls of Autism and into what was deemed Asperger's, but it was only a man's diagnosis in the past, and it does represent quite differently in women. It might help her because some of these other emotional diagnoses, sometimes the frustration hits hard and burnout hits hard, and that's why these emotional labels get given when in fact there's other labels that helped me better, for sure. Like,
Yeah, the last
yeah.
the last message she sent me, she was thinking, she talked about that a little bit. She was thinking that her partner is maybe on the spectrum. But she was sort of she sort of said, but yeah, I don't care. Like, who cares? I mean, we're all different, everybody's neurodivergent. We're all different,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, Asperger's was removed because Hans Asperger's was part of the National Socialist German Workers' Party. So
That's why?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why.
You're pretty sure?
Yeah.
It also just sounds kind of mean to call somebody an Asperger.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
They did a South Park on that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so like based on that spectrum, what Annie was talking about and describing, do you guys see yourself more as organize, or the other one, gather chaos?
Organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, Hank?
I'm obviously more organized, but I can bring the chaos too.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring the chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess ISTJ then, Hank, man.
Yeah.
That's not what my test said.
Okay.
Well,
I
also,
guess you're wearing the OPS, Benjamin OPS, ICJ. I would say yes because
That's right. It's
because
Benjamin.
I can't really disagree with your specific categorization. All I could do is refer to the other one. So yes, I agree that according to Benjamin's variant of OPS, I am an ISCJ.
For me, I feel like a lot of tension and conflict between the OE and OI. It's like the OE is this, excited, creative, like toddler part of me that is just starting new projects and doing all this stuff. And then the OI part is like, the stern, like grumpy mother who has to clean it all up and organize it. And so there's just this tension, these two parts of me, like pulling stuff in, and the other part is like, shit, now I have to, thanks a lot, I have to organize all this, you know?
What about you, Mimo?
Both simultaneously at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. I found it depends who I'm with. Because there's one time, actually, when I was in Utah, I was living with a bunch of dudes, and obviously they're, not doing the dishes or whatever, just whatever what dudes do. So I was like, okay. So I just cleaned up like every weekend, and I was the OI rule. But then over here in Oklahoma with my family, I'm the OE person to where like my parents are constantly complaining, oh, you don't do anything around the house. You do this and do that. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, organized isn't necessarily doing things around the house, though.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but yeah. I do believe Hank could be an ISTJ though, because it's like J.K. Simmons also comes off as an ENTJ, but
J.K.
Yes.
Simmons, who's that?
Omni Man, the reporter who's always against Spider-Man.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, the TE masculine dude. Yeah. He's also in that movie Whiplash with ENTP.
This is you, Hank.
Yeah.
So those are my type twins, allegedly.
Allegedly.
This one guy? I don't know if he's your type twin, but he's your type cousin.
Type cousin. Who is that?
J.K. Simmons, apparently.
Yeah. James Jonah Jameson.
I like that actor. I mean, I like his acting. I don't know him or anything
Right.
about him.
Yeah, never heard of him.
I mean,
He's also
this character he plays here does complain a lot.
yeah.
It reminds me of Hank, actually.
And
He's a menace.
Okay.
His whole news thing is about like a podcast against Spider-Man. Like espionage and
Right.
conspiracy.
Well, everyone, thank you very much for your patience with me.
Patience. Thanks for coming
yeah.
back.
I appreciate it. I look forward to, the more I listen, the more I kind of understand what you guys are talking about. But you prepared me for that the first time we met. So
Right.
I look forward to understanding more and more about this personality typing stuff. And,
Sweet.
I'm not here for the feedback, but, type me anytime.
Cool.
Nice to see you all. Thanks, Hank and Benjamin and Annie and Mimo and everyone. I'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You know what's missing? My antagonists. They don't want to come at me anymore. They're not getting any headway.
Yeah.
It's not like they can't find me. I make sure that we share on
They're
my
just tired
channel
of
so
getting
they
their
can-
asses beaten by you, Hank. They're tired of getting spanked.
Yeah.
Spanked by the Hank.
You defeated them.
Yeah, I guess having a sore ass is quite a pain.
Yeah. I don't know why they would want that anymore.
Yeah. You already beat all your enemies, so you ran out of enemies. So now it's just you.
Be all my enemies that used to come at me. I have a couple that won't even leave from their freaking hidey holes, like Forrest Valkai. But I don't know how to get to them yet. Okay.
Well, you had a little bit of a rivalry with Jared, but then he left.
Well, that's why to get back to video games. Always something better than you at those.
Well, when vigilante heroes become a thing in real life, then you could just start a media news outlet about it, and then that can be your enemy for the next 20 years.
Yep. But that's easy. This is a website. So The hard part is making money off of it, but
What else happened this week?
Um,
Snow White got released finally.
yay!
oh, that movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Crazy
didn't watch it.
parameter.
I have no plans of watching it. I haven't watched a movie at a theater in what decade is it?
Russ told me a review of that movie that was funny. Somebody said, even if I saw this on an airplane, I'd walk out."
There's that big earthquake in Myanmar. You guys follow that?
No, when was that? Vigilante.
Oh, I love Scammer Payback.
Like almost 2,000 people died
Damn, was that today or yesterday?
in Thailand. No, it was like a couple days ago.
Damn.
Sorry.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask about the last week about the whole how it is over where you're at, Ben. It's with the
About the what?
ceasefire. Since the whole ceasefire thing ended.
Yeah, it's a complicated. Yeah. I think just stuck chasing our tails, not paralyzed from the ceasefire at the moment. I don't know. There was the protest. Did you guys see the protests in Gaza?
No.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of pictures. They're protesting Hamas.
Yeah, they were protesting Hamas.
Yeah. It's confusing because some people say it as in, oh, they want to replace Hamas to either finish the job of what they're already doing, or
I think they're just sick of the
actually
war that's been going on for 2 years. So
Yeah.
it sounds like they're just sick of the war and they want it to end. To me,
yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, if you're not willing to win the war, of course you might go ahead and end it. Might as well.
right? Yeah, Gaza's
also-
destroyed and they're blaming Hamas, rightfully so.
Yeah. I'm also curious about Turkey. I wish Sadette was here because it's like there's always
Yeah.
something with Turkey every 2 weeks.
Yeah, she didn't come to our last typing meeting. It's interesting. Oh, you're following that stuff?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, never mind. I forgot what happened last, but it's like the whole thing with like the Kurds
And then
yeah.
I don't know. I guess the U.S. is supposed to be attacking Yemen now. We already talked about that, but
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll happen if they do follow through.
and Trump's threatening Iran.
World War III started already.
Yeah, it started a while back. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Iran, I know about those. So pretty much Trump wants Iran to stop its nuclear program, or it's going to sanction, like quadruple sanction them. And it's probably,
What I'm
I don't know what
confused
the
about
point is.
is the Ukraine thing, because after the whole argument in the White House is the U.S. pro Russia now, or are they just not supporting Ukraine? Like, I don't get it.
I think they're pro peace, pro this war ending. To be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, we have other wars to start. I mean, we need someone to get back. We
Yeah,
need
you can't start wars until you end the last ones.
well, we can, but the budget's to be overstretched. So we try to take back Panama right now. So Europe, wherever you are, you stop that crap. We need to take over Panama now. The world, please say so.
Some U.S. soldiers are found dead in Lithuania.
What were they doing there?
I don't know.
Is that in? Where's that at?
In Lithuania.
Lithuania?
That's Europe.
It's in Europe.
That's in
Yeah.
Europe.
Oh, okay.
Bodies of 3 U.S. soldiers found after vehicle sinks in Lithuania.
Hmm.
I don't know. Oh, so yeah, there was no terrorist or anything. They just got sunk in a peat bog with their vehicle. Their armored vehicle sank.
Wow, that's
Terrorist mud.
Yeah.
That can happen. Peat bogs are tricky.
Are they? Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Well, yeah, it's tricky. It's like this really marshy area where peat grows, you know? And that's what they put it to make scotch taste the way it tastes.
This particular kind of scotch.
Illegal space aliens under the earth dragged them down.
What do you think of aliens, Hank?
That's what fences are for. Keep them over there.
Fences for aliens?
Yep.
smart.
Hmm.
Well, it's too late for that because I've already formed an alliance with the aliens.
Nice. Which kind of aliens?
They call themselves the Gray Imperials.
Oops.
We
muted
can
you
make
back.
more fences, I think.
Yeah, they're giving us their sun harvesting tech. Unlimited energy. Well, not unlimited, but it lasts a few thousand years.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
Sun harvesting? What do you mean, like photosynthesis?
like Dyson sphere tech.
So get the blow up stars, then just put it in the engine directly, or how does it work?
Pretty much just wrapping a giant solar panel around the sun.
Neat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Apparently, that's how you can tell if there's an alien civilization, if there's a Dyson sphere around their sun.
Mhm. What I'm confused about is how you transport that energy all those miles back to your host planet.
You shoot
That doesn't
it.
make sense.
How you shoot it? That's how else does it get here? Like it does now. You shoot it. Radiation.
Like what the sun does, anyways.
Yeah, radiation.
So you just concentrate it. Isn't that like the
Yeah.
Death Star then?
Yes.
Just like the Death Star.
You just turn the dial down so it doesn't blow the planet all the way up.
It's actually smart.
Hank, what was the best debate you've ever had?
The best one was with J.R. Busk on Red Pill. Yeah.
On Red Pill?
Yes. He was by far the best, most affable opponent I had. We got set really quickly. It was very straightforward. So I think that's the best one.
Yeah. No ad hominems?
Yeah, no ad hominems. Not a single one between both of us.
Nice.
Wait, so I'm actually lost. What is Red Pill?
So the way I define Red Pill is just you do some rituals and then someone just fall in love with you. That's pretty much Red Pill. And I say nope. It just depends on who you are as a person to start with. Your ritual is not going to make much. If you feel your rituals make a difference, then it probably didn't matter.
So it's demon magic.
Yeah, I'm saying the demon magic wouldn't have worked. I'm saying you just need to be yourself, and if that doesn't work, you're out of luck.
The problem with red pill is that when you start broadcasting it to the entire internet, then women will learn from it and pivot, and that's it. It's over. You can't use those rituals or tactics anymore because they'll be onto you.
Well, here's the thing: there's women into total dirtbags, so
Oh,
maybe this just didn't make a difference to start with.
yeah.
Why would women fall for dirtbags?
Well, you're not a total dirtbag, Hank. Why would you want a woman that's into total dirtbags? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, but is a total dirtbag better than me because they have more women than me? I would say not necessarily, but
Yeah,
it just
no.
depends on your
That's true.
criteria.
Wait, so then what's blue pill? Because I've heard blue pill before too.
Yeah, blue pill is just not red pill. Pretty much, you just say just do just normal stuff. Shower, be yourself.
You're still in the matrix with the blue pill. You haven't taken the red pill yet.
Oh.
I had it and I vomited it out because it's garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm blue pill. So how do you actually get out of this whole blue pill, red pill matrix circulation thing? Or you just
Take the blue pill. And
Drugs are
take the
bad.
blue pill.
Just don't take either pill.
Just don't do
Yeah,
drugs.
Well, blue pill's the default. So if you don't take the red
Yeah,
pill,
but
you just
he still had to take the blue pill. You see what I mean? What if he just didn't take either?
if
That's
you just
also
didn't
choice.
take the red pill, then you're considered a blue pill.
So, oh, purple. I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking of taking both at the same time.
They have gray pill now too. They've got a bunch of that.
Gray pill. Wow. What is this? Jedi lightsabers now?
Yeah, it's like let me look up what's the gray pill.
Gray pill. Would taking both pills at the same time be the same as taking a purple pill? I don't know. Hank, have you tried this out yet?
Negative.
Like just red pill?
Try them both, and red pill doesn't work. So I'm a blue pill.
You're blue pill? Okay. Yeah. I guess I default to blue pill as well.
I mean, if red pill worked, why would there be a whole bunch of inkwell still? This stuff's been out for like 10, 20 years. If it worked, there shouldn't be anyone. It's all over the internet. There shouldn't be no one complaining about not getting someone. But they are, and there's still coaches just peddling the same stuff. So I'm just gonna assume it doesn't work because the evidence leads me otherwise. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that's complaining about not getting a computer in the United States because the cell phones and PCs are very readily available. In fact, if I found out about someone in my town that didn't have a computer now, I'd probably just go ahead and buy them one real quick.
All right, here they are. When you're black pilled, you're pessimistic or apathetic about the future. When you're white pilled, you're hopeful about the future or believing change is possible. And I don't see gray pill yet.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My email's in and my channel description. So if you need a computer, I'll hook you up. If you don't have one. In fact, how can you email me if you don't have a computer? Oh, you could go to the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You could use your phone.
Your phone counts, in my opinion. In fact, I'm trying to get help my sister with emulation on the phone. I think the phone's probably just gonna be best handheld console. I even have a controller specialized for it. Let me get the mount for it.
There is an orange pill, but it's just the new black one.
Orange pill. Oh, the new black pill. That's funny. What is it? What's the new black pill? Sorry. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that was a good joke.
So what's next on your channel, Mimo?
On my channel, I don't know.
Do you have plans? Do you have big long-term plans?
Definitely long-term plans. It's like well, it's weird because like I want it to be and grow into like something I do like at least once a month or 3 months, but I don't know what that is specifically, you know. So, but actually, I just got a text that there's like these journalists or whatever from Germany that are here and they want to visit a tribe. And
Oh,
I was like,
sweet.
oh, so I was like, maybe I could interview them. I don't know, but
Sounds like
yeah,
they want to interview you. Yeah.
yeah, they want to interview. Yeah, so we'll see. Um, I don't know. I'll just OE. I'll just play and just do it. Whatever happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like, do you have any long-term plans for your channel?
Um. Yeah. I don't know what though. Like. Yeah. I guess it's like the same with my social media. Like I want it to grow and like do it, but it's like I don't know what. So I'm just posting on there daily and just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just focused on kind of like I guess I'm not even fucking know what I'm focused on, but I'm more focused on like just doing stuff with my tribe or whatever projects are going on that I'm invited to help with or whatever is currently controversial or whatever.
You should start your selective breeding project. I want to know what those plants taste like.
It's actually like a big, yeah, that's what yeah, there's like it's like a whole thing, you know, like, uh, like natives nowadays are more predominantly like, oh, environment, save the environment, our land. So there's actually a big movement. Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's a phone with what's called gamepad
Keyboard.
mount. It's a gamepad with a phone mounted to it. I think I'm gonna
Nice.
use this as my new handheld console. I saw some Ampernic consoles and they were neat, even the $50, $50 to $80 ones. But this, I think this has more power than they do already. So I just said, why bother? I could get a full gamepad, dual shock with just using the cell phone. They use emulation anyway, so kind of doesn't make a difference where I start with. So I think
Nice.
I actually like this configuration better.
And is that your phone inside of the bubble wrap?
So it's my spare phone inside the bubble wrap. My
Huh.
my live phone is over here. It's the same model. So
You got two phones.
yes,
Two phones of the same model?
yes.
Oh,
That doesn't
yeah,
sound
you're
right.
right.
It's one of them's a backup.
It's a backup. You got a backup plan in case the primary plan fails.
Yes.
Why? Why didn't you wait to buy the backup?
Because I'll have the new phone sooner. Because I could just activate this one.
So it was like a 2-for-1 deal, or it was like a cheaper to buy two, or
But no, was it cheaper to buy two? No, I just like having a backup, a hot backup ready. I just like the idea.
all right.
Right?
I have another where I have another copy of the same laptop as my main laptop here too, just ready to use. So
Russ
I could
actually
buy it from
has
spending.
a backup phone.
Russ has a backup phone.
Yeah, but he has a brand new iPhone. It's sitting over there. But he hasn't like opened it up yet and transferred the stuff because when it was the new year, his this lady he works for, she had so many credit card reward points that she needed to spend, and she said, "Can I get you a new phone?" Because they were talking about how the price of things could go up because of the tariffs, you know, in the new year, like an iPhone might cost more. So she said, "I'll buy you a new phone." So she just like outright bought him this brand
So
new
it
phone.
wasn't. He didn't go out of his way to have a backup. He just got another phone, and now it calls it his backup.
Well, yeah, he just hasn't used it yet. You know,
Yeah.
it's he's had it for months. and he'll periodically like charge it, but he's still using his old one. I think he was just thinking like if his phone craps out and an iPhone costs, so much more,
Right.
in the in the next coming months, then it'd be good to have one.
So Hank, I guess, bought both phones at the same time.
Yeah. Either that or bought a couple months within each other. So
So he bought two phones at the same time. The same phone. One is his backup, and
yes,
it's still in bubble wrap.
and I'm doing that with my laptops. My desktop, I have at the different desktop. I have two laptops, the same make and model. One's gonna be the backup, and I also use it to charge my battery. I also use it to charge the batteries up. So it has
See,
two
I wouldn't.
functions.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that because like I have my laptop here. It's like a MacBook Pro, and I don't want two of them because if I use this for 5 years, then I want the better one next.
Yeah.
I want the more recent one. I don't want to go back and use one that's 5 years old.
So, well, I use
Nice,
Linux,
TJ.
so I could use Arbor pretty much as always at once without a slowdown. So I don't really have to. I don't have that problem.
ISTJ confirmed.
Confirmed ISTJ. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know how you confirm an ISTJ with that. I don't think ISTJs will move from Windows to Linux because they're used to Windows. But that's
I
just
think
my
we're talking
opinion.
more
I don't
about
know.
the
In the
backup
Benjamin's
phone.
model, it makes perfect sense, but I don't understand it, so it makes no sense.
I mean, that's OI.
Yeah. That's that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced an ICJ would change operating systems just because he wants freedom.
Just because he wants freedom.
Yes.
So he would do more control to get more freedom?
Well, I would.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it sounds like an ISTJ to me, or any IJ is doing more control to get more freedom.
Yeah, IJ, yes. Or any J, pretty much.
Do you
Any
need to
J for
go?
sure.
Oh, we lost Mimo. All right, Hank, I'm going to have to be your antagonist.
I guess so.
Yeah, I got to be your enemy.
All right.
Around
I
it.
was looking to see if Dragon was around or Nico was around. I don't see any of them on Discord.
Oh, yeah?
It's
You're
getting
on... What's up?
really hard with this dog. He is so old and unstable, and he trips and runs into things, and every time he gets up, he seems like he's in pain. Because he gets so stiff.
Yeah.
It's getting hard. Yeah, I was taking him on a walk, and he was tripping and stumbling in a weird way that it looked more like it was not just clumsiness, but like ataxia, like a neurological thing, just like an episode of weird discoordination that seemed like it was neurological.
Do you think he's aware that he's going through it?
No, he still thinks he's a puppy because he'll see a squirrel and think he can just jump and run out the doggy door, and then he slides and slams into the wall. He forgets. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting really hard. And last time I did the grooming, it was really traumatic for both of us. It was very traumatizing because it's just hard to groom an older dog. And I've been grooming poodles for over 20 years, but it's very difficult. It's not easy, and I'm not as good at it as someone who does it all day long. And so with my next dog, I have vowed that I will do the professional grooming, like get them trained on it, because they know all the tricks to deal with elderly dogs when it gets to that point.
Right. Was she like afraid of the razor?
Yeah, he was just shaking for a good 3 weeks after. He would tremble. He was shook up from the experience.
Wow. Like
And
you had to make him stay still or something?
yeah, it's just even, for him to stand in one position for a long time so I can get all the parts. It
Right.
takes me like 90 minutes to do a poodle. So now I'm just using shears, just using scissors and just doing the best I can, a little bit here and there. In the bathtub, I cut a yoga mat with a little outlet for the water to go down. So he stands on the yoga mat in the bathtub because he's just not stable enough.
Right.
And with poodle puppies, one thing you can do to like get them really used to the grooming is you get actually an electric toothbrush and you just pretend to groom around their paws like every single day to desensitize them so they're not upset by it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a better job with every poodle, I get better at raising them, but he was traumatized. He went to 2 other homes before he came to me, so he's already like kind of neurotic and scared.
Right. Like the fear of abandonment thing, you think?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think I mean he was afraid of newspapers and
Right.
dish towels. So I
Right.
think somebody was hitting him because they
Was swatting him,
probably got a puppy and thought, "Oh, puppy, this will be fun." And then people don't realize how difficult it is to raise a puppy. The first couple months, it's kind of overwhelming for people.
Yeah, I know they go through trauma too, the dogs, from being rejected.
By the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to trust again.
Yeah. Yeah, he was it was kind of a good moment when I met him. I drove halfway. The person was coming from the upper state and we met in a parking lot halfway. And he took to me right away. Like he recognized me or something
Right.
and was really close to me. And the woman said, "That's remarkable. He's so scared. I can't believe he's he looks like he's very comfortable." So she felt good about the match.
Yay, a nice lady came to save me. Take me away from them. Take me away from
Yeah.
these newspaper beaters.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be. I'm glad that I found him because I have the patience to put up with his bullshit. So I have a question. If you don't take off your hat, who is allowed to cut your hair? Is it like a mother or a wife, or does
No, it
the
just don't cut my
school?
hair. That's it. Just grows forever.
No, you do. Do you shave
I
it
do.
yourself? So
No, I
what
take it
other?
off for the barber. Yeah.
Oh, and that's like allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how it works. I
Yeah.
don't
No,
know.
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, because I think I've seen in Jewish families before that the wife cuts the hair.
I mean, anyone can cut it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You mean there's no special Jewish technology that allows you to just
Not yet. No.
gets more phase through the hat to cut the hair? There's no secret Jewish technology for that.
Not yet. No. One day.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe it was like a situation like, how they have kosher food, if it was like a kosher barber or something. Like, I don't know how all this works.
Yeah. Who cuts your hair, Hank?
Supercuts.
Supercuts. So
Yep.
like some random trainee.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, that's where Russ goes. And for me, Russ cuts my hair. Since I met him, I've only had one haircut, but professionally, he just does it for me.
Sweet.
I thought in like Pittsburgh they'd have like this hood spot with your homies and like in their back.
They
door,
exist, except they don't keep their freaking razors sharp enough, so don't use them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that's not going to be useful in a gang war if they don't keep the razor sharp.
Right. So they're not formidable allies. That makes sense.
They're not formidable allies.
Yeah, those
They
are
need to
ones
keep
I
their
like.
razors sharp and have a backup razor.
Yeah, the same exact.
Needs to teach them how to organize.
No. Once it's a professional paid operation, you probably have 2 backups.
2 backups. There you go. Exactly.
Yes. And one's probably had to stay off site. So.
Right. Dig a hole, put it in there, cover it up with a dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the case of place bearing sound.
So if Hank is SI first, then he has to have Demon NE.
Yeah, on the bottom.
Do you have intrusive thoughts, Hank?
I wouldn't call them intrusive. I conquered them, so I wouldn't say they're intrusive. Thoughts.
How do you conquer your thoughts?
I play with them. I play with the thoughts and kind of see where it goes. I just do what's it called? But it's stuff I'm also called thought experiments with them.
So do you have crippling anxiety?
It's not crippling. I have anxiety, but if I had to do the thing, I'd go ahead and get it done.
What about OCD?
OCD, not really. No, there's a critical path of things I'll do if I feel I need to do it to just keep my social standing and stuff. But after that, I'm not super in a rush. I don't need to lick all the doorknobs or whatever thing. I don't care that much. There's just some things that need to be done, and there's some stuff that probably should be done, but that can't be bothered with.
Maybe would it make sense if you're consume last, like FINE? Wouldn't that be like bipolar?
I'm sleep last.
Yeah, he knows he's sleep last.
Huh.
He's in.
So you have the same emotions. That's your demon.
No, my demon's just other people. They're just stupid people. But plus, you need enough private validation just to have enough credits to pay the bills. That's what really grinds my gears. So.
Yeah, it's all a scam.
But of course, according to Dave Powers, that can't be right because everyone types themselves upside down, so it must be something different. So something else must be my demon because it can't be other people, which really annoy me.
So you're ENFP.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, he still thinks ENTJ.
Oh, right.
Well, no, I thought MBTI, I'll be ENTJ, but if we're going with Mimo's OPS, then ENFP is sure. They don't have to be. Everyone's OPS system doesn't have to be compatible with each other since everyone comes up with their own definitions, anyways. But should take you 10 years.
So what about Hank's OPS?
I don't use OPS. I use MBTI and Enneagram.
But you can make up your own OPS.
Oh, of course it could.
So your OPS could be an MBTI and Enneagram.
If I could if there's some way to just, you know what? Yeah, sure. My OPS is just I had a re-encode, somehow re-encode like an extended MBTI, which is just concatenating MBTI and Enneagram, and if I can code that in OPS, sure, that would be my OPS.
Did you ever get into Enneagram, Mimo?
I just looked up an article explaining the whole thing like 2 hours ago.
And
So it's interesting. I guess I'm a 3, whatever that means. I already forgot what it means, but all I know is I'm a 3
Yeah,
based
there's
off
a
the system.
there's a whole free lecture that I listened to. On
are you a 3, Hank?
No, I'm yeah. Trudy said I was an 8, and I think before that, I think an online free thing says I'm a 5, but tri type came out the same every time, so it's like 8, 5, 4. This was my tri type. So
Yeah, I haven't learned the try type thing. I just know the singular numbers. Well, for now, for a 2-hour skimming spree.
yeah, so pretty much so Enneagram works is that that's the mind, the body, and what's that other thing?
Gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, mind, body. It's gotten mind. It's gotten body the same thing.
No.
Oh yeah, heart.
There's
Heart,
heart, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
Jess
heart.
did me a while ago, and I don't remember the full tri type, but she was saying 9, that I was a 9, and then the heart was 4-wing 5. And whenever I
Wow.
studied it and did the test, all I could see was 4-wing 5, you know? And so I was like, I guess I always thought I assume I'm 4-wing 5. But then when she did it, she said, no, that's good because that's your heart. That's what you're seeing.
Right.
But overall, I'm actually 9. And then I watched, when you met with her and she picked 5 for you, and then I read the description and I was like, wow, that's you were saying that it seemed right to you. And I kind of thought it did too when I read that description.
The 5 for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I don't know. The community is saying that I'm not a 5, but I don't care. I think Jess is right. Jess does a good job.
Which community? Because I mean, your people right here on your panel says 5.
All right.
Who's disagreeing with us?
People who know me and who are into Enneagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The thing is that all the systems are different. The different branches or chapters of the
Right.
Enneagram, they're all
What was
different. But
what was her argument for 9 for you?
um
You're a gut
it
type.
it was the part that, see, I was surprised by that, but and I haven't looked at it. This was like 3 years ago she did this for me, but it was the extreme openness, like not
Hmm.
taking a position, you know. Um and that was the part that resonated.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the 4-wing 5 definitely resonates because like most 4s are like 4-wing 3 or something like that. And it's like really I don't relate to that at all. But the 4-5 I do.
Okay. Yeah, according to Trudy, it's head, heart, and body. That's what they.
They say body. Well, they're right then because they're truity.
And then she was saying that I was like self-pres and like sexual blind, which made a lot of sense to me.
Self-pres first,
Yeah,
and then
or
social.
yeah, or the other way around. I think it was self-pres and then social, but or I don't remember. It was just that the sexual was the lower, like the blind part.
Right. The sexual part is like your ambition, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and she was saying something interesting the other day about somebody she interviewed who she thought they were sexual first. And she was describing him, he was very flashy, and she was describing him as doing what a peacock does, and just like his jewelry and his accessories,
Okay.
like and that he was also probably like a double feminine, some kind of double feminine TI. But yeah, just like the charisma and this kind of quality of like attracting a mate in sort of that way that birds do, with colors. That was like one aspect of it that she sees. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's tied to ambition too, because I definitely don't have that.
Yeah. I don't remember what she gave me for those.
Yeah, I
Listen.
don't either.
Yeah, since you're my
It's
enemy
so
for
funny,
today,
I should use
Benjamin,
social-
I'm just gonna go ahead and make it stop moving. Share my core weakness according to Truity. Some Enneagram test that says my core weakness is excess, a craving for more control, power, and intensity to hide feelings of weakness and vulnerability.
Is that true?
That's what the test says.
Okay. Is that
I
what
don't know.
Hank agrees with?
Who knows?
It's a tough world and I must be tough to survive.
Yep,
Is that your core belief?
I'm pretty tough.
Course. Isn't that the dark side of the Force?
What?
Yes,
The
yeah, I
core
mean,
being fear?
yeah, absolutely. I think I would be if I was in Star Wars. I'd be a Dark Jedi for sure. But I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be Sith, but I'd definitely be Dark Jedi.
Oh, so Mace Windu?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, core fear, being weak, vulnerable, or average, not having the power to make things happen, being controlled or limited by others. Yeah, probably.
So when you say wing, can that be any number? Or does it have to be the one next to your number?
Next.
Next, wings has to be
Oh.
next to you. And tri-type is the top one out of the 3 sections.
Mm. And it's next by the one that's directly next to it on the circle, not by the triangle next to it.
Yes, next to the
Okay.
circle, the tri-type is based in the triangle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, core fears being controlled, hurt by others, and often seek to harden themselves against any kind of neediness. They tend to avoid situations to make them feel vulnerable, insist on being the most influential person in their environment as a way to avoid any attempt at being controlled. Eights are actually aware of power dynamics and believe somewhat unconsciously that weak people do not deserve respect, and being strong is the only way to be safe and not vulnerable. As soon as they get a sense that someone's trying to manipulate or control them, they will resist the influence, even me to burn against the established rules.
Does that make
So-
sense?
Makes sense to
So,
me.
so
Yeah.
Andrew Tate is an 8.
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Valid.
Well, let's say my core desire is core desire to dominate circumstances, people, in order to control outcomes, to have enough power so as to be invulnerable.
Hmm.
You want to be invulnerable, Hank?
Well, yes. Pain's fine, but I don't want to get actual damage. So,
Where does your agreeableness to debate come in then?
training. Let's train myself to be tougher.
Oh.
What's that?
What's what?
There's this dang, I forgot her name, but her whole thing is about being vulnerable, and she's an ISTJ. Oh, Brene Brown, duh. Yeah, it's her whole thing to be vulnerable, and she's ISTJ, coincidentally. It's like her whole life lesson. She writes like 3 books about just being vulnerable. She's ISTJ.
Sounds loopy backwards.
Nice.
I mean, that's how you get an enemy, right? You have to pretend to be vulnerable.
Well, not for me. I could just go about my day and pick up enemies.
Well, you don't have enemies. Your enemies are all gone, you said. You're
Yeah,
looking
they're
for a
all
new one.
dead.
You're in the
They
market for new
still,
enemies.
well, they kind of, I didn't erase them all, but they're just not coming at me. We know they know I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I'm really tired, guys, and no one's joining much. So I don't know. Maybe we can end it a bit early, an hour early. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
we're just gonna get to 3 hours like we normally do, and if nothing happens by then, it's
Yeah.
over.
Bet.
Yeah, but it's cool that you guys came out. What do you have for April Fools, Hank? What's your last thought? Thank you for
Um,
co-streaming, by the way.
Yes, thank you for inviting me to co-host. My last thought is it's great that everyone gets to have their own OPS system, but if we want something that more people, community can use at the same time, we have to go back to MBTI and or Enneagram because it has definitions that we can share across people. We don't have to take months to find our own terms. We can just take the terms that group of experts made for us so we can actually share and develop and use the system as designed. So OPS is all
That is
good, fun and
boring to me.
good, but it's just not. It's just it can't do many things people use MBTI and Enneagram for.
That sounds very SI to me. Let's just use the system we've already built. Let's not bring any new systems.
No, well, OPS
Yeah.
is technically built too. It's just it's not as useful at doing typology. If I want to do typology, it's nice to know what the type is and not having to define it for months first, and then having to try to convert 10 people into your typology religion just to know what a first person's type is. It's just a practical matter. It's not about, well, this system's so it's better. It's just practical. Just this more infrastructure for the other ones and less stuff I have to build relative to between.
But it doesn't matter if it's wrong, as long as it's practical.
Well, yeah, because if it's right, nobody can know it's right. How's it right? How can if no one can verify it's right? When it's right, what difference does it make?
Well, how is anything right at that point?
Exactly.
So then, if nothing's right, then that means nothing's wrong either.
Exactly. You
So
get
there's
it.
just nothing. So the whole
Exactly.
logic, there's nothing logical about being logical.
Exactly. And that's my problem with OPS in a nutshell.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. Okay, I can follow.
What do you think, Mimo? What's your last thought of the day?
Yeah, that makes. I guess I'll just end off on how that makes sense. And yeah,
Makes sense. All right. How about you, Annie?
I got nothing. I feel really blank, but I'm
Yeah, I
probably
know.
gonna go keep sewing, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, interested to see. How long do you think it'll take you? Another week? 2 weeks?
It depends on how many full days off I have. Like tomorrow I'm working at 3:15, so I can do some sewing, but then I
Right.
have to clean all that stuff up. There's fabric everywhere. So I might like sew until noon and then start to clean up. Just
What do you think
depends
about
on
your project overall? Are you getting what you wanted out of it?
Yeah, I'm appreciating focusing. I'm just noticing that I should probably introduce more challenging things every once in a while because it helps my creativity and confidence overall. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't have much yet either to share. Just thanks for coming, and see you next week. Yeah.
See you next week. Within 3 minutes, it's the same thing in my industry. 3 minutes.
We're allowed to skim out 3 minutes early. You're giving us
Well,
permission?
yeah, 3 minutes of the time is the same thing as the time. At least when it comes to my time card. So, yeah, but good.
All right, sweet. All right, do you want to end it then, Hank?
Sure, I'll hit it.
Nice.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Good job, buddy.
Cool.